Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Deku inherited a legendary quirk part 1. If you guys enjoy this what if and want to see part 2, comment down below and let me know before I start. Please do support for more awesome content and leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also share this video with your friends and check out the description in my playlist. The author of the story Brandon Williamson 691 from Wattpad. So let's start the video. Chapter 1. 𝗵𝗃𝗁𝗵𝐴 in a hospital in Japan, there was a green-haired woman who gave 𝗵𝗃 to a healthy baby boy. By her side was a man with strange but good-looking hair, and to her right was an older woman with a similar hairdo to hers. The woman looked to her husband. "Toshi, our baby boy is so appealing," Inko said. "He has your eyes and Toshinori's hair," the other woman said. "Can I hold him?" Toshinori asked, looking at the baby boy with joy in his heart. Inko nodded at her husband and smiled. She then handed the baby boy over to Toshinori. The baby took Toshinori's hand and gently squeezed it. Toshinori smiled. "He is here," Toshinori said. "𝗵𝗃𝗶𝗃," the boy said, repeating him. Toshinori then poked Izuku's nose as Izuku then bopped Toshinori in the nose as he squeezed it. The older woman chuckled. "Looks like he may inherit his father's strength in the future," she said. This woman was known as Nana Shimura, the hopeful hero, paragon. She retired in order to spend more time with her daughter Inko. "What do you think you'll call him?" Nana asked. Inko and Toshinori then looked at each other and smiled. "I was thinking Izuku," Inko said. Nana smiled at that name. "That's an appealing name," Nana said. She hugged the both of them and smiled. Years have passed since that fateful day. Izuku was now an excited 4-year-old who admired heroes. From their costumes, to their quirks, basically everything. Today was his 4th birthday. The young boy was awakened by the voice of his grandmother. "Wake up, little guy," she said. The sheets were moved, revealing Izuku in a onesie of his favorite hero, All Might, the #1 hero in Japan. "Is it morning already, Grandma?" Izuku asked. Nana nodded and smiled at her grandson. "Certainly is," Nana said as she picked him up. "Are you excited about your quirk, little guy?" "Aha," Izuku said. "When I get it, I'll be a great hero like All Might." "You sure will. What do you think your quirk will be like?" Nana asked him. I don't know. Maybe super speed or super strength. Or maybe super nerd." Izuku said. "I think that's just Katsuki calling you a super nerd." Nana told him. "Yeah. He said it would be my hero name. Super nerd." Izuku said with enthusiasm. Nana couldn't help but chuckle at her grandson's enthusiasm. "Well, let's get some breakfast. Your mama is cooking something special for ya." "Yay," Izuku said. Nana brought Izuku down to the kitchen where Toshinori and Inko were sitting. "Mornin', Papa and Mama." "Happy birthday, little guy," Toshinori said. "Well, there's my little Izuku," Inko said as she pecked him on the cheek. Izuku giggled a bit and gave his mother a hug. "Are you excited to see what your quirk is gonna be?" asked Inko. "Yeah. I'm so excited I can explode," Izuku shouted. "Before that, I made you a little something for your special day," Inko said. She turned his attention to some All Might-shaped pancakes with chocolate chips on them. "Pancakes?" Izuku said. "Yep, pancakes," Inko said with a smile. The 3 adults watched as Izuku chowed down on his food, making a bit of a mess. Inko giggled at her son. Now, Izuku, you should slow down," Inko said with a smile. "Sorry, Mama. I just really love your pancakes." "I know, sweetie. But please, slow down. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if your quirk is Scion." Inko noted. "Okay," Izuku said with a smile. After eating, Izuku got washed up and put on some regular clothes. Toshinori patted him on the head. "So are you ready to see what quirk you have?" Toshinori said. "Heck yeah," Izuku said as he jumped in the air. However, something was wrong. He was still in the air. "Is this a freeze frame or are you actually floating?" Nana asked. I think I'm actually floating," Izuku said. Realization suddenly came to him. Holy shizkebabs. "I'm floating," Izuku shouted. After all of that, the family got in the car and drove to the hospital. There, met with their doctor, who was an old skinny man with rectangle glasses. So, you're here to discover this young man's superpower? Asked the doctor. Yes, sir. Inko said. Well, since he's already shown signs of his quirk, I think I should just skip to how this power works. It's a basic telekinesis quirk, meaning that he can fly and attract and repulse objects. While not impressive at first, most of the best superheroes usually start off with a not-so-strong quirk but find multiple ways to use said quirk. I believe he'll be a great hero. Izuku could only sit there with an excited expression on his face. Young man, if you're truly thinking of becoming a hero, don't let some idiot talk you out of it. You hear? Asked the doctor. Yeah, Izuku replied. And always remember, a hero's job is never easy. With great power comes great responsibilities. The doctor told him. Yeah. Izuku repeated, now, get out there and be the hero you were meant to be. 𝗧𝗂𝗧𝗏. At that, Izuku, Inko, Nana and Toshinori all walked out of the doctor's office, satisfied with their answer. 𝐒𝐬𝐽𝐵, said the doctor. Izuku and the family were on their way out of the quirk clinics. Izuku saw his best friend Katsuki walking by. Deku scrub. Katsuki said, greeting him. Never gonna stop calling me that. Izuku asked. Well, you still call me Kaken, so I say it's fair game. Katsuki told him. Hello, Katsuki, Nana said as she rubbed his cheek. You gonna make it to Izuku's party today? Of course he is, he keeps reminding me about it 24/7, Mitsuki said. What do you think I am? An idiot? Of course I'm gonna be there. I love how Auntie Ano makes katsudon. Katsuki shouted. If you love it so much you should learn to make it, Ramsey Jr., Mitsuki said with a chuckle. So what's Katsuki's quirk? Inko asked. Oh, Katsuki can make little firecracks with his hands, Mitsuki said. Pretty soon they'll be full-on explosions. And what about Izuku's quirk? What does he have? I'm a telepath. Izuku said, not only can I attract and repel objects, but I can fly. Okay, that's on me, I set the bar too low, Katsuki said. What do you mean, Kaken? Izuku asked. Oh, you know, me with an explosion quirk while you're over here able to get a better version of the black-haired old lady's quirk. Katsuki said, what do you mean? Never mind, Katsuki said. Now, Katsuki, don't be starting stuff, you brat. I'm not you old Katsuki began but was interrupted by a bonk on the head. Don't call me an old hag. Then don't call me a brat. Katsuki shouted back, sticking his tongue out. Some things never change, Nana said with a slight laugh. Nope. Inko said, excuse us. Mitsuki said as she dragged Katsuki in the car. Inko, Izuku, Nana and Toshinori still heard Mitsuki and Katsuki bickering from outside the car as they drove off. Do you think he gets it from his mommy? Izuku asked. I don't think there's any doubt in mind. Toshinori said. He's probably gonna learn every naughty word in the book before he even starts preschool. Nana said, well, I don't see how that's not possible. Harimans miof Mitsukuin were in high school shwood constant legidinto heat arguments with Pipri and Inko went into a mutter state. Oh boy. There she goes. Izuku is probably gonna inherit that from his mama. Toshinori said. Making their way home, Inko, Toshinori and Izuku were greeted to the sight of a movers and packers truck right next to their door. Inko parked her car and the two made their way to meet the people who were moving there. A young girl with permanent blush marks on her face stepped out. Ooh, it's so big. A brown-haired man, who seemed like the girl's father, laughed at her statement and responded, yes, dear. Yes, it is. A woman stepped out as well and joined what was probably her husband and daughter as they were admiring their new house. Inko walked up to the family of three. Why, hello, are you moving here? A woman who looked like the little girl's mother stepped forward. Why, yes. Yes, we are. I'm assuming you're our neighbors. The woman asked. Yes, Inko said. My name is Inko Yagi. This is my husband Toshinori, and my son Izuku. Nice to meet you all. I'm Sato Uraraka. This is my husband, Maruki, and this is our little girl, Ochako. The woman named Sato said. The little girl known as Ochako approached the boy and greeted him with a smile. Hi, she said. Hello, Izuku said. Mr. Uraraka stepped forward. I'm warning you now, boy, he said. Any funny business, any at all, and you will be answering to me. Izuku gulped at the thought. Mr. Uraraka's serious face suddenly turned to a goofy face. Just kidding, he said as he laughed. I can tell you two are going to be good friends. Izuku sighed in relief. Sato had a glare and bonked her husband on the head. How many times do I have to tell you to quit doing that? She said. Oh, I was only joking. He said. And you scared him half to death. Sato said. Sorry about my daddy. He's kind of a goofball. She told Izuku. I'm Ochako Uraraka. I'm Izuku Yagi, but you knew that. Yeah, I did. It's nice to meet you. Let's be friends. Ochako told him. That sounds wonderful, Inko said. By the way, I'm having a birthday party soon. Wanna come to it? Izuku asked her. That sounds delightful. Sato said. Later, the party was about to start. Izuku was helping out with the decorations for said party. He floated up and put the sign up. How's this, Grandma? Perfect. Nana said. You know, if hero work doesn't work out, you can always do house cleaning. Mom. Inko said. What? I'm just kidding. Jeez. Nana said. The Bakugos had arrived. Katsuki had a can of root beer and crossed out, root. Alright, let's turn this SHT up. Katsuki shouted. Language you literally, Katsuki said. Please you too. Masaru said. Oh, Katsuki, you can't get drunk on root beer. That was a joke. Inko said. Well, if I'm not drunk, then why do I keep falling? Katsuki asked, still acting drunk. I was kind of thinking because my quirk is a telekinesis quirk, I thought why not have a Harry Potter and All Might themed party. It turns out, All Might is a Hufflepuff. Izuku said. How is he a Hufflepuff? Katsuki asked. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Toshinori said. DMN that quiz. He mumbled. Well, I guess that makes me Gryffindor. Katsuki said. You're Slytherin and you know it. Mitsuki told him. Not. R2. Mitsuki replied. D2. Toshinori finished with a chuckle. No more dad jokes or you're on the couch, mister, Inko warned. Sorry. Toshinori said. This is why you were put in Hufflepuff. Nana whispered. The door opened again, revealing Ochako and her parents. Is this where the party is? Asked Maruki. Sure is. Izuku said. Wait, All Might is a Hufflepuff. Ochako asked. Apparently. Toshinori said. Nana laughed at this. Yep. He's such a loyal pro-hero. Isn't he, Toshinori? She asked. Speaking of heroes, I got a surprise for you, Toshinori said, turning to Izuku. A few heroes are making their way to the party as we speak. Izuku's eyes went wide with excitement. Really? Izuku asked. The door opened, revealing a few people. A woman with purple hair, an elderly-looking woman, a guy with a weird hairdo, and a hobo. Izuku, I trust you know these heroes. Toshinori asked. Of course I do. Izuku said, pointing at the woman. Namuri Kiyama, K. A Midnight, Chio Shizenji. Recovery Girl. Hisashi Yamada, Present Mike, and Shota Aizawa, Eraserman. Eraserhead actually, Aizawa said. Namuri bent down and smiled at the little boy. Can you tell me how old you are, Izuku? She asked. 1, 2, I'm 4, he said. Namuri then hugged the little boy, prepping him with kisses, earning a few giggles. Must you do this with every child? Aizawa asked. You know I get this way with kids. Namuri said, turning back to Izuku and prepping him with kisses. You can call me Auntie Namuri. So, I guess that makes me Uncle Mike and this is Uncle Aiza OW. Hisashi said as Aizawa slugged him in the shoulder. So what's this kid's quirk? It's obviously something related to the brain, Aizawa said, changing the subject. Actually, I have a telekinesis quirk. Said Izuku. Sweetie, why don't you show them? Inko suggested. Oh. Izuku said as he started floating as well as making other objects float towards him. The 4 adults were beyond shocked to see this. Oh, but Aizawa said. Recovery Girl hit him with her cane. Language you oaf. She said. Izuku turned to Nana and asked, Grandma, what does 𝐒𝐻𝐻 mean? Well, it means, Nana started. Inko shouted. After a bit of partying, Toshinori snuck away from the fun. Izuku noticed it. Mama, where did Papa go? He's getting your last surprise, Inko said. They heard familiar triumphant laughter outside. With that, a giant man with blonde bunny hair barged through the door. I am here to wish the birthday boy a happy birthday. All Might, the three kids said. Hi, yes, it is I. All Might said, you must be Izuku. Izuku nodded his head. Inko, how did you make this possible? Mitsuki assaked. Let's just say, I may know All Might personally. Inko answered. You're the greatest hero, and I want to be just like you one day. Izuku said, I can attract and repel objects and I can fly. I'm sure you'll be a great hero with that power one day. All Might said with a smile on his face, that's quite a powerful quirk, 𝗔𝗄𝐻𝗵𝗲, a young Izuku. I didn't know what he was about to say, but I'm gonna get screwed up with this butterbeer. Katsuki said, actually drunk. Kaken, I think you have a drinking problem. Izuku told him, I don't have a problem. I drink root beer or a butterbeer, I get drunk, no problem. Katsuki said, All Might, you might as well tell them, Inko said, what you see stays secret, kids. Got it, Ochako said. All Might realized what she meant. He then poofed back to his normal form. The smoke cleared, revealing Toshinori. At this, Izuku looked rather shocked to see this. 1 minute he saw All Might, the other he saw his father. I think I've been drinking too much. Katsuki said, Papa, where did All Might go? Izuku asked. You see, All Might is your papa, Inko said. Welp, time for my hangover. Katsuki said as he fell over, pretending to pass out. Your friend is weird, Izuku. Ochako said, Yeah, I know. Izuku replied. But, All Might is actually my father. That's a plot twist, isn't it? Nana said, and also, I was the one who trained him when he was starting out as a hero. This amazing news was a lot for Izuku. He fell back on the couch comically. Is he gonna be okay? Ochako asked. Yeah, just give him an hour or so. Inko said, just because he's the #1 hero's son doesn't mean he'll get lucky and 𝗬𝗪 his him with a book. Ochak, sweetie, you stay with Izuku while I teach your dad not to tease kids. Okay. Ochako, sweetheart, save me. Maruki said. Bye, Papa. All Might looked at Izuku as he slept on the couch, Ochako by his side patting his head. One day you'll make a great successor, he thought with a smile on his face. Game on. Izuku, Katsuki and Ochako were walking to preschool. Izuku was walking by Ochako as she was shy. So, is Ochako your girlfriend now? Katsuki asked. Well, she's a girl who's my friend. So yeah. Izuku said. Katsuki only snickered. After a while the students all walked in, followed by the teacher. Okay, students, we have a new student joining us. Come on in. A girl wearing a hat walked in. She had blondish hair and brown eyes. Sup, fam, she said. Fam? A student asked. I'm totes excited to be here. I hope we can all be fam here, said the new girl. What's your quirk, dear? The teacher asked. She blew a mist. When she did, she was able to make 2 of herself. Is anyone else thinking her quirk is 420? Just me, said a student. The day went on, and the new girl was trying to find a spot to sit at lunch. Katsuki noticed her. Hey yo, he said, wanna sit with us? Sure, the new girl answered. She took her spot near Katsuki, who was on the opposite side of Ochako and Izuku. So what's your name? Ochako asked. The name's Cammy, Cammy said. I'm Ochako Uraraka, this is my friend Izuku, and my other friend Katsuki. Sup, Katsuki said. So your quirk has to do with illusions? Izuku asked. Yeah, you could say that, fam, Cammy said with a smile. Wow, that's so cool. Izuku said, you couldest that quirk to confuse villains while a 𝗕𝗏 gone make them think 𝗕𝗏𝗧𝗵𝗏 when in reality, he went into a muttering state. Does this usually happen? Cammy asked. Yes, Katsuki said, but as of today you're part of the new group of friends. Cammy smiled. Years later, Izuku, Katsuki, Cammy, and 𝗬𝗧𝗪𝗏 became the best of friends growing up. They would usually spend their time talking about heroes, quirks, and about hero schools. They were at the playground. Katsuki was showing off his quirk while Izuku was reading a book about heroes. Their time was interrupted by a scream. Izuku looked to see the bullies picking on a kid. Come on. You really think you can be a hero with that kind of quirk? Freak. Please. Just leave me alone. Said the bullied victim. Or what, you defenseless loser. You really think you can tell me, the great 𝗵𝗏, what to do? Hey! Shouted Izuku. Don't worry, Deku. I get this. Katsuki said. Hey, Malfoy. It's 𝗵𝗏. Shouted 𝗵𝗏. Yeah, whatever. Ever read Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them? Your mom's on page 1. Katsuki said. Oh, it's gonna be like that, huh? 𝗵𝗏 shouted as he approached Katsuki. I wouldn't do that if I were you. Katsuki said. But 𝗵𝗏 kept approaching. Okay, you asked for it. Katsuki said as he threw an explosion at 𝗵𝗏's nuts. At that, 𝗵𝗏 fell on the ground, gripping his nuts as he squealed in pain with tears rolling down his face. The trio then smelt something. Oh, he himself. Katsuki said. 𝗬𝗧𝗪𝗏 and Cammy went to help the boy who was bullied. Hey, you okay? Izuku asked. Why yeah. I'm fine. Thank you. Said the boy. He didn't hurt you too badly, did he? Izuku asked him. The little boy shook his head. Why was he bullying you in the first place? That's so not cool, fam, Cammy said. For trying to talk to her, the boy said, pointing to a little girl who was by the swings. They all looked to see a girl with long black hair which was in a ponytail. He was picking on you because you were talking to her. Katsuki asked. He nodded. Screw it, I'm getting a root beer. Katsuki said. I don't mind my friend's drinking problem. Izuku said. I don't have a problem, Deku, Katsuki said. Kaken. You had 3 root beers before you came to school. You have a problem. Izuku told him. So what's your name, fam? Cammy asked. I'm Kenure Jotaro. The named Kenure said. I have the feeling that was a JoJo reference. 𝗬𝗧𝗪𝗏 said. I think I'll start calling you JoJo from now on, Izuku said. I like that. Kenure said. So, what's your quirk? Izuku asked him. Kenure was about to tell them, but he was hesitant. Come on. Tell us. Cammy said, shaking Kenure. Cammy, you're scaring him. 𝗬𝗧𝗪𝗏 said. My quirk lets me use video game items. That is awesome, Cammy shouted. Wait, really? Kenure asked. You could use any type of video game items you want. Maybe even learn spells from any type of role-playing game. Izuku said. You would probably put All Might to shame if he learned the spell from Morrowind. 𝗬𝗧𝗪𝗏 said. Okay, let's not get crazy. Izuku said. Gosh, I never got this much praise about my quirk, Kenure admitted. As a matter of fact, imagine him being able to shout like in Skyrim. But then again, he said using video game items. Maybe if Izuku then went into a muttering storm. There he goes again, everyone else said. Well, my dad thinks my quirk is a curse. Your dad thinks your quirk is a curse. Taco asked shut. Your quirk isn't a curse. God was probably playing a bunch of video games when he made you and that's how you got your quirk. Cammy said. But my dad didn't want me to be a hero. He wants me to study business. Then get that 𝗬𝗏𝗪𝗏 out and use it on him. He'll probably turn into a chicken or maybe in sweet roll. Katsuki said with a root beer in his hand, pretending to be drunk. Kenure laughed at that statement. Luckily I live with my mom. She's divorced, whatever that means. Well, that's good. Anyway, why don't you go and talk with that girl over there while Malfoy is still screaming like a little beach? Katsuki said. Kenure slowly and shyly walked up to the girl who was casually swinging on the swing set. Hello. He said. The girl stopped and noticed him. Hi there. How are you doing? Kenure asked, still stuttering. Are you okay? The girl asked, oh no. I'm fine, it's just Kenure said, trying to start a conversation. Could it be that you're nervous? The girl asked why. Kenure said. I've heard that when someone is nervous about meeting new friends, it's likely that they never had friends before or they have something troubling them back at home. Could this be the case? The girl asked. How did you? I've read quite a bit of books. I'm kinda a bookworm, said the girl. I'm Momo, by the way. Momo Yaoyorozu. I'm Kenure. Well, wanna be friends? Friends? Momo nodded her head. Like, we play games, we do whatever friends do and so on. She said. Well, I do like video games, Kenure admitted. Oh cool. I like to play video games whenever I'm not reading. Momo told him, what's your quirk? Well, I can make video game items and use them, Kenure said. Yours? Oh, you can make video game items. That's almost like mine. Only not video game items but real-life items. It's almost like you're my soulmate. Momo told him. Kenure turned red after hearing that. Katsuki spat out his root beer and fell to the floor laughing. Kaken. What's a soulmate? Izuku asked. Oh, for God's sake, Deku, how are you so dense? Kenure and Momo were continuing to chat it up. Ms. Yaoyorozu, there you are, said someone. It was a butler who worked for Yaoyorozu Enterprises. Your piano lesson is about to start soon, we should hurry. Okay, just give me a moment, Momo said. She wrote something down on a piece of paper. It was a username to a game called Sword Art Online. So we can chat more, she said with a smile. Farewell for now. Until then, Yaoyorozu, Kenure said. Oh, and please call me Momo, she said. After our talk, I trust you enough to call you my friend. Kenure stood there appalled. What just happened? Not only did he manage to make a few friends, but he even found out that the girl he tried to talk to also plays the same game that he does. He seems to be much happier than before. Ochako said. I'm gonna need to teach him how to verbally assault people. Katsuki said. Bullies mainly. All Might looked at his son talking with his friends. He then smiled to himself. It's time, he said. Training with the pros years passed since meeting Kenure. The five of them became great friends with each other. One day, Izuku was walking home from school with Ochako. After reaching her apartment room, he bid farewell to Ochako before opening the door to his own apartment. As the door opened, Toshinori was standing there with a very serious look. We need to have a talk, he said. I'm okay, Izuku said. He followed Toshinori to another room and he closed the door. Did I do something wrong? Izuku asked. No, not at all. I just need to talk with you for a moment. Toshinori told him, it's about my quirk. Your quirk? Izuku asked. Well, you know that I have super strength and can change my appearance on command, yes? Toshinori asked. Well, that's only a quarter of my abilities. The true name of my quirk is One for All. One for All, Izuku repeated. It is a quirk that not only bestows enhanced endurance, strength, and speed, but there is a second function to it as well, Toshinori explained. It can be passed down from person to person. Wait, passed down? Izuku asked. Yes. Like a sacred sword, it has been passed down from hero to hero. Izuku was amazed by this fact. I would write this down, but I'm guessing you want this to be kept a secret, Izuku said. You catch on quick, Toshinori said. One for All is a quirk that originated during the dawn of quirks and has been passed down to combat the villain and the quirk All for One. One for All was created when All for One bestowed his apparently quirkless brother with a quirk that's stockpiling quirk. What he not his brother knew was that his brother did in fact have a quirk. It was a practically useless quirk that allowed the user to transfer his quirk to others. The two quirks combined and the younger brother became the first user of One for All. Using the very power he received from All for One, the younger brother staged an uprising against All for One's empire. He was successful in pushing his brother to the underworld, forcing him into hiding. However, this win came at a great cost. The younger brother died shortly after he defeated All for One. He did pass his quirk on to his wife, who fought All for One when he came back to try and take over the world once again. This CYCL of the various users of One for All defeating All for One has been going on for almost 200 years now. I am the 8th user of One for All. Your grandmother, Nana Shimura, was the 7th user of the quirk. And I pick you to be the next wielder. Me. Yes, Izuku. I've seen how you reacted before young Bakugo stopped you. So, I thought you would be the best candidate for One for All. So, what do you say? Toshinori asked. I accept. Izuku said. When you get this quirk, not only will your own quirk be enhanced, but you will be granted a longer lifespan. Your grandmother was the only one beside me to have this. No wonder she looks so young. Because 𝗵𝘃𝗁, yeah, anyway. You'll need some training before I give you this quirk. If you don't have a good enough vessel, well, let's just say, it's a bit too graphic to tell you at your age. Toshinori said. You mean my limbs will go flying off? Izuku asked. Yes, Toshinori said, and Ochako, you can come in. I know you're listening. How did you know I was here? Ochako asked as she came from behind the door. I heard you gasp when Izuku asked about his limbs flying off. Toshinori said, but anyway, I need to tell the both of you to please keep this a secret. The more people that know, the more people are in danger because they know. Scout's honor. Ochako said. Now, before I give you one for all, we should get you into training. Young Uraraka, would you like to join us? He asked. Wasn't Aizawa gonna train us to get a better handle of our quirks? Ochako asked. Yeah. What if JoJo came and joined us? Izuku asked. JoJo, you met a stand user. All Might asked. Izuku and Ochako started laughing at this. Actually, his real name is Kenshiro Jotaro. We just decided to call him that. Izuku noted. Does he have a stand quirk? Toshinori asked. No. More like a video game item quirk. Ochako noted. Well, I don't see why not, Toshinori said. The more the merrier. Cool. Izuku said. The next day, Izuku was at a place called Dagobah Beach, next to Ochako, Katsuki, and Kenshiro. All Might was in front of them with his trademark smile. Alright, so, first thing for training is to gather fighting skills. And since I'm god-awful at martial arts and only rely on punching the CRP out of villains, I thought, what better teacher than Eraserhead? All Might said. You mean the hobo? Izuku asked. All Might snorted. Yes, I mean the hobo. All Might said while trying not to laugh. So how is he gonna train us? Ochako asked. Well, you all don't know this, but he rarely uses his quirk, relying on hand-to-hand combat, only using his quirk as last resort. All Might said, now excuse me while I go get him. All Might then went up to the door to Aizawa's house. Wake up, Aizawa. He shouted as he banged on Aizawa's door like a mad cartoon character. Ahem, said a voice from behind. It was Aizawa. Oh, Aizawa. I was expecting you to be asleep. All Might told him. So you shout at the top of your lungs while beating the... He looked at the young children before saying his next word. CRP out of my door. 10-11 aim, well yeah. How else would I wake you up? All Might asked. Good grief. So, are these the children that I'm gonna be training? Aizawa asked, looking at the kids. Yep. As you remember from 2 chapters ago, the green-haired one is my son. All Might said with his signature pose. So, I should most likely expect him to act like you as if you were younger. Aizawa asked. Yes, sir. All Might said. Good grief. Aizawa said, pinching his nose. Alright, I'll train them. So, what are you planning to teach us? Izuku asked. Well, first, I'm gonna train you to fight without your quirk before you start training with your quirk. Aizawa said. Sure, Mr. Aizawa, Kenshiro timidly said. Alright. You seem more timid than the rest of these kids. Something wrong? Aizawa asked the timid boy. Well, I guess I should tell you, Kenshiro said. Okay, I'm on the spectrum. Everyone stared at him. Is the spectrum a workout program? Katsuki asked, only to get smacked upside the head by Ochako. It's not a workout program. It's a diagnosis, Kenshiro said. I was kidding, it was a joke. That's the thing, I didn't get the joke. I don't get humor or sarcasm at all. I think what he's trying to say is that he's autistic. Aizawa said. What the hell does autistic mean? Katsuki asked. It means my brain doesn't function like other people, Kenshiro said, so that's why most jokes fly over your head. Katsuki said. Kaken. Be nice. Izuku told Katsuki. I'm just saying. Katsuki defended himself. Anyway, I'll personally help you build your confidence up as you train. By the way, I forgot to ask. What are you guys' quirks? Aizawa asked. Well, you've seen Deku's quirk already, but I can make explosions. I can make objects weightless. Well, what about Jotaro? Aizawa asked. I can make video game items, Kenure said. He pulled out an arm cannon from the Metroid franchise. Everyone was shocked to see this. Jesus Christ, that's an overpowered quirk. Aizawa said. I should introduce you to some of the older video games. Also, we're definitely gonna need to get you some earmuffs. What are these for? Kenure asked. Just in case you're either sparring with Bakugo or if you're ever near Present Mic. Aizawa noted. Is Present Mic loud? Kenure asked. Very. Well, thanks for the earmuffs. I hate loud noises. Kenure said. As the days went on, Izuku and the others were learning basic fighting techniques from Aizawa. He was showing them poses and forms for various fighting styles. When training with All Might, the three of them would work on clearing garbage out of the area. This was helping them build muscles, especially for Izuku so he could wield one for all. Of course, some of the UA staff were there to assist them. 𝗵𝗲𝗄𝗃 created an obstacle course for the four of them to run through. Kenure ran through it as if it were a platform level from a video game. 𝗵𝗲𝗄𝗃 was amazed by this. I like this one, he said. Months later, All Might was walking by and noticed the entire beach was clean, free of any garbage around the entire area. To say All Might was impressed would be an understatement. Holy stinking super CRP, All Might said as he buffed up. He noticed Izuku jump down and catch himself using his quirk. Ochako jumped down with him. My boy, you and the others have exceeded my expectations and finished quicker than I would have imagined, he said with a smile. It was a lot of work, but it was worth it and I got more muscle. You certainly do, and now it is time for you to receive the quirk. All Might said as he smiled. He pulled out a piece of hair from his hairdo and gave it to Izuku. Eat this, he said. Izuku had a look of confusion. Wait, what? Izuku asked. To inherit my power you have to swallow some of my DNA, All Might said. That's how it works. Well, okay, Izuku said as he ate the hair. He downed it with an energy drink from a bottle. Dad, why do you use so much shampoo? He asked. All Might laughed at that comment. In an unknown location, there were 6 people in chairs. One of them stood up. So, the quirk has finally been passed on, he said. Throughout the years, this quirk has grown stronger than imagined. It has, said another person in a green shadow, and now the 9th user has the quirk, come a few more hours. Nana appeared before all of them. So you've heard the news that my grandson is the new wielder, she said. We have, the first person said. I think it's time we pay the boy a visit. And I know just the way to do it. He turned to some odd-looking vessels. I never thought we would get to use these, the first person said, but better late than never. Nana smiled. A new way to train. One day after receiving one for all, he tried using it to break a boulder. He punched the boulder, obliterating it, but at the same time, destroying his arm. Fortunately, a woman with a healing quirk was there to heal it. However, after the healing, Izuku felt tired and fell asleep. Toshinori carried Izuku into the apartment and laid him on the couch. Recovery Girl's quirk definitely made him tired. Inko ran over to him worried. What happened to my baby? She screamed. He tried using one for all and injured his arm, but Recovery Girl healed him up, Toshinori said. Inko bonked him on the head. What did I say about overexhausting our son? Inko asked. Come on, Inko, he's done with his pre-one for all training. Now all he has to worry about is cuts and broken bones. Inko attracted a frying pan and looked at Toshinori. Nana, a little help. Toshinori asked. Sorry, can't hear you, Nana said from the other room. Toshinori started running from his wife while she started chasing him, swinging the frying pan around. Get back here. Izuku woke up to see his mom chasing his dad around the house. Guys. Toshinori hid behind the couch. Help me, son, he said. You think I want to be on that end? Izuku said, moving away. Good boy, Inko said. She then whacked Toshinori on the head with the frying pan, and it hurt. Don't overexhaust my baby boy, Inko said with a puff. It was me that did it, Mom, Izuku said. Oh, I know, I just told him not to let you do it, Inko said as she chuckled. Not even the strongest heroes can face the wrath of their wives. That's true, Izuku said. The next day, Izuku was slowly starting to wake up after the long sleep he needed. Izuku slowly started to wake up. He turned to his left and then to his right. He opened his eyes and saw 6 people looking at him. One of them had white hair and smiled. "Hi," he said. The 11-year-old boy screamed loudly. It was so loud a certain purple cat could hear it. Nana rushed in. "What is it, what's—" She stopped as she saw the white-haired boy. "Orochi? Wait, you know these people?" Izuku asked. "Yes," Nana said. "Izuku, these are the previous users of the Quirk One for All." "Previous users?" Izuku asked. Nana nodded. "Though I am curious how you're all in living bodies." "Probably," a guy with hair similar to Katsuki said. "So why are you all here?" Izuku asked. "To teach you how to properly use One for All." "I'm sorry, but All Might's advice was horrible." "Oh, you mean to teach me how to not accidentally break my bones every time I punch 𝐕𝗏𝗏 across the face? Honestly, worth every bone broken." Izuku told them. "So that first time you used it, I think you used the full power and that's why you broke your bones," Orochi said. Izuku nodded. "It hurt like hell." "What about you, Grandma?" "Same," Nana said. "Well, first thing you should do is regulate that power," a man with a scar said. "What output do you think you can handle without injuring yourself?" I'm not actually sure," Izuku said. "Come with me," the man said. Izuku followed him outside. He was standing near a tree. "Now, I want you to use 5% of One for All and punch this tree, to see if you can use it without injury." The 11-year-old was confused, but decided to do what he was told. He channeled OFA into his arm, then punched the tree using only 5% of his power. He didn't injure himself that time. "Excellent," Orochi said. "You're learning." "Izuku, what's all the—" Toshinori asked, coming out before realizing who was by him. "Are you the previous users?" he asked. "We are," Orochi said. "By some kind of sheer dumb luck, we're living flesh." Katsuki came running by. "Hey Deku, there you are. I think Gamer Boy wants us to who are these people?" "They are my cousins," Izuku said. "Anyway, Jojo wants us to meet at his house. He thinks he's got a way for us to train." "Really? How?" He said wait and see. Later on, Izuku, Katsuki, Ochako and Cammy were at Kenshi's house. The door opened revealing Kenure in a tanuki onesie. "Hey guys," he said. "Aha," Izuku said. "Oh, right," Kenure said before reverting to his normal form. "Were those your pajamas?" Izuku asked. "Nope. One of my many items I had," Kenure said, "for super cool stuff." "Like sleeping?" Katsuki asked. "They are not pajamas," Kenure said. "Moving on, I think it's time I trusted you guys enough with something I've never shown another human being before. Ever. In my life." "What is it?" Izuku asked. Kenure guided the others to his room where a computer was. He started typing in information and went to a microphone. "Kenure Jotaro," he said. A security system was active and aimed at Izuku and the others who were startled, and guests, he finished. The security system deactivated. A light started to emerge. Kenure went inside. The others were hesitant but followed him. When they went through, they looked and could have sworn they were in some kind of virtual world. It was filled to the brim with objects and areas from various video games. "What in the Matrix hell?" Izuku asked. "The virtual gaming world," Kenure said. "It's actually a beta build of a game I hope to share with the world one day. A mix of various games and platforming ideas, and it's also where I get my ideas for gaming items for my quirk." "Ugh, mushrooms," Katsuki said, looking at mushroom platforms. "Everyone loves mushrooms," Ochako said. "Well, not me," Katsuki said. Kenure then pressed a button. A giant item block appeared and opened up, revealing some kind of obstacle course. It had traps, obstacles, and areas to practice certain things. The quarter looked at the area and reacted with awe. "Alwu." "Alwu. So, watch and learn." Kenure went to the obstacle course. He did a jump over a pit, then saw a wall. He jumped up doing multiple wall jumps before landing on top of another platform. There were foe monsters about to attack Kenure. He did a roll and evaded the attacks before doing a long jump over a deep pit. Kenure kept running faster and then did a triple jump before reaching the flagpole at the end. How did you do that? Izuku asked. I spent a few years on this course, but I also got a bit of help using power-ups, Kenure said. Kenure then hit an item block revealing a mushroom. He gave it to Katsuki. Mushrooms? Are you serious? Katsuki asked. Kenure nodded. You heard him kaken. Izuku said, imitating All Might, eat this. Katsuki was about to eat it but stopped. Does it have to be a mushroom? Because I really hate mushrooms and, Katsuki said before looking at Kenure. Okay. Katsuki was about to eat it but stopped. Is there a... Cammy grabbed the mushroom, then shoved it down his mouth. There, down the hatch and all gone. Cammy said. She then shoved it down his mouth making him eat it. Cammy, what the F? Everyone else started laughing. I love you and all, but that was not cool. Katsuki felt himself changing a bit. His hand grew a bit in size, his body following. He was suddenly a bit taller than he was before. He looked at himself in amazement. Whoa, I'm tall, he said. And strong, Kenure said. Katsuki tried hitting a brick and ended up destroying it. Does this also mean my D? Kaken, that's not a question to be asked here. Izuku said. Why don't you try it out first, Kaken? Kenure said. Katsuki smirked. He then ran and then jumped in the air. He was amazed at how much height he was getting, until he started falling down into the water. He then hit a pipe and was brought back to where the others were. He then shrank back down to his normal size. Oh yeah, when you take heavy damage, the power-up wears off. Well, Katsuki said. My turn. Ochako said. She hit the item block and a brown leaf started floating down. Do I actually have to eat a leaf? She asked. Nope. Just grab it with your hand, Kenure said. Ochako did so. Suddenly she found herself in some kind of raccoon weight. Oh, thanks Wicca. Tanuki suit. Whoa, so what does this thing do? Ochako found herself flying in the air. The tail was spinning fast. The power of the Tanuki suit, Kenure said, it grants you flight abilities. And also lets you float down. This makes no freaking sense. But then again, the Super Mario games never really made sense to begin with. Ochako said. Ochako started flying around the obstacle course. She made it to the flagpole after a few attempts. Katsuki went up again. This time he got some kind of orange flower. He then grabbed it with his hand and suddenly his clothes changed into a red core. He also had red highlights in his hair. Oh, what's this thing do? Katsuki asked. He pointed and suddenly a fireball came out. Huh, Katsuki said. Do they explode? No, but have you ever considered ranged attacks with your firecracker quirk? Kenure said. Ranged Game Boy, you're a genius. Katsuki said. As Ochako and Katsuki were trying the obstacle course, Izuku was muttering to himself about One for All. But 𝗲𝗵𝗲 𝗵𝗃 for an output 𝗕𝗲𝗲 and 5% reven were 𝗓𝗵𝗃 limbiandra peri nito findu a better way to see on foralso idon tend up being 𝐎𝐩𝐢𝐴𝐵𝐿𝑖𝑡𝑦. Kenure couldn't help but overhear him. Deku. He asked, Hey Deku. Izuku got out of his trance. Sorry about that, I was muttering. Yeah, I can see that. Wait, why did you call me Deku? Izuku asked. Well, I got it from Kaken, Kenure said. He said, and I quote, Deku dumbass. He said mimicking his voice, I sound nothing like that. Katsuki said. Oh, Deku is just a nickname Kaken gave me, Izuku said. Well, anyway, it's my quirk. I have my mom's quirk, but recently I inherited my dad's super strength. Well, how do you normally use it? Ochako asked. By focusing it on a single limb. I do, Izuku said. He suddenly thought of something. Jojo, can you do that obstacle course again? I think I got something planned. Kenure did the course once more and Izuku started taking notes. He then added those notes to what he had about One for All. Suddenly something clicked within him. He had been using the quirk wrong this entire time. It's just like my telekinetic quirk and how I focus it around me to fly. I've been using One for All as if it were a super move, rather than as a basic part of me. He got up. One for All is more like a current. Rather than focus that current on one part of me, Instead I should use it on all of me. He channeled one for all throughout his entire body. Veins appeared around his body and then disappeared, and he started to glow a bit. Sparks of green danced around him as he was using 5% of the quirk. Katsuki and Ochako looked at this and were amazed. This is it. My first super move. Izuku thought. Is he alright? He looks like he's about to explode. Kenure said. I'm better than alright. I'm inspired. Izuku said, at an output of 5%, I have my ultimate move. One for all full cowling. What's one for all? Kenure and Katsuki asked in unison. Izuku quickly covered his mouth. He then looked at the readers and realized he messed up. Super Jotaro, what's one for all? Kenure asked. Izuku realized he messed up big time. Ochako quickly came up with an answer. How the villain who nearly killed All Might named himself All for One? Ochako asked, trying to come up with a logical answer. Kenure and Katsuki nodded. Well, he came up with that name in spite of that villain. Ochako said. That quickly? Katsuki asked. Yep. You know Deku. A quick learner. Ochako answered. But wait, did Deku come up with that or did you just decide that? I know your quirk isn't mind reading or else you would have known that Deku likes you by now. Katsuki said, being too smart for his own good. SHT. He's onto me. Ochako thought to herself. Okay, I may as well spill the beans, Izuku said. He then went on a long explanation of how his grandmother and father had the quirk, and how he is now the wielder of said quirk. And the only drawback is my aging being slower than others. By a 0.3. But a third of 0 is still 0. That is a lot to take in, Katsuki said, but I see why you're keeping it a secret. So moving on, let's see that full cowling in action. Kenure said, changing the subject. Izuku then went through the obstacle course at fast speed. He was much more agile with the act of full cowling. A few foe monsters arrived and he obliterated them with a smash without busting his arm. He then jumped to the flagpole and grabbed it. Wow, Deku, that was amazing. Izuku then started a Kirby dance, having Kenure facepalm. Wrong game, Deku, he said. Later on, the group returned back home. Izuku ran up to the kitchen where his parents were. Whoa buddy, where's the fire? Toshinori asked. I found out how to use one for all. Izuku said, is that so? Nan asked. Izuku then activated his ultimate move. One for all flowed throughout his entire body. The other users were amazed at this. Intriguing, Yorchi said. Well, you have a way to use the quirk without breaking your bones now. Banjo said with a smirk. Now all that's left is building up outputs. I think that'll be second nature as more years come by, Izuku said. More years had passed. Throughout his middle school years, Izuku has become as popular as Katsuki has, and both have gotten praise from everyone, especially the teachers. When word got out that the two of them were going to UA, they had dozens of good luck comments and so much more. Ochako went to the same middle school as them. It's me, Kenure Jotaro. Are you tired paying too much for game repairs? Or do you need hints and cheat codes on hard levels? That's why Super Jotaro is here, to save Mizudafu and Japan and your wallet. Momo appeared on screen as a customer. Thank you, Super Jotaro, she said. If only there was a cheat code to keep my bank account from drowning. Kenure smiled and gave her a thumbs up. Forget the other repairmen where you're just a face. With a Super Jotaro, you're a family. Kenure and Momo were watching the commercial. Wow, Momo, you were great. Kenure said, no, you were great, Kenure. Momo said, I can't believe we managed to talk your parents into paying for this commercial, and without having to pay them back. Kenure said, well, they said they owed ya, so that's only fair. Well, what about the accent? Was it too much? Kenure asked. I thought it was kind of funny. Momo told him. Thanks, Momo. A certain someone was watching the two talk and he was not happy about it. That creep is flirting with my queen again, Monoma said. I think she flirted first, said one of Monoma's henchmen. Shut up. I know what I saw. He walked up to the two. Ugh, what do you want, Monoma? Kenure asked. To take my girlfriend away from a creep like you. Monoma said. Kenure and Momo looked around. What are you doing? trying to find who you're talking about. Momo said, yeah, unless your girlfriend just so happens to be invisible like 𝐎𝐩𝐽𝐻, I'm still assuming you're maidenless. Kenure said. The others guys started to laugh until Monoma turned to them. If I told you once, I told you 1,000,000 times, Momo said. No. That's right, Monoma, said another familiar voice. It was 𝗬𝗬𝗍𝐻𝐻, the so-called superior student. Yaoyorozu is obviously going to join my 𝗕𝗏𝗍𝐻 said, and she'll be joining me in my quest to become the superior hero. As if, Momo said, I plan to follow Kenure in his quest to become a repair guy, and the gaming 𝗕𝗏𝗍𝗏. 𝗍𝗏 started laughing at that name. Good luck trying to have a hero career with this RETD. He then threw a piece of wrapped-up paper at Kenure, only for it to be caught by Momo. Call him that again and you'll regret it, Momo said. Kenure started to snort. It kinda sounded like he called me a RED, which would be a mistake because I will not be made to be ashamed of who I am. Oh, I may run from villains, Kenure said, getting in a stance, but I will always fight a bully. Oh come on, you're a wimp, but I'll give you the first hit, 𝗧𝗏𝗍𝗏 said. Give it your best show. He didn't get to finish as Kenure socked him in the jaw. Everyone, even Monoma, was surprised by this. You were saying? Kenure asked. 𝗧𝗏𝗍𝗏 got himself back up. You just got lucky cause my quirk wasn't active, 𝗧𝗏𝗍𝗏 said, but if we go toe-to-toe you're mincemeat. He started to walk away. So moving on, I heard you're planning to go to UA, Kenure said. Yep. As a matter of fact, I got in on recommendations. Momo clarified. That's great, I plan to take the entrance exam, Kenure said. I know you'll do great. Momo said, unlock any new items yet? As a matter of fact I have, Kenure said. I got Palutina's bow, great for melee and ranged attacks. I got the ice flower, the boomerang, a few guns from Halo. Kenure then went into a mutter state about his gaming items. Oh no. Did you get that from your friend, Yagi? Momo asked. Well, I guess his love for heroes rubbed off on me, Kenure said with a chuckle. He got a phone call from an unknown number. Hello. Kenure asked. Your Wi-Fi is glitching. That's great. Great that you called me because I can fix it right away. He turned to Momo with a smile. I got my first customer. Okay, let's do it. She ran outside and Kenure followed. The two of them saw a lot of traffic. We're gonna be late. No, we aren't, Momo said. She opened the door and started running and jumping. Kenure did the same. He was looking at how Momo was jumping. It was as if she played a lot of Mario Maker. After a few minutes they made it to the house. It was a fancy one. Looks like you hit the jackpot, Kenure. Momo said. Kenure rang the doorbell. A girl with purple hair and weird ears walked out. I guess you're the repair guy, she asked. 𝗬𝗏𝗁. Momo asked. Oh hey there Momo. The girl now known as 𝗬𝗏𝗁 said. You two know each other. Kenure asked. We're in drama class, 𝗬𝗏𝗁 said, and let me say she is a big drama queen. Not true. Oh really? Who decided to fall to her knees and scream to the heavens because she ran out of toothpaste? 𝗎𝗫 asked. It's a big deal. How else are you supposed to keep your teeth clean and from falling out? Momo asked. Anyway, this is my classmate, Kenure Jotaro. Kenure, this is 𝗬𝗏𝗁 𝗎𝗫. Is that a JoJo reference? 𝗎𝗫 asked. Also I notice you're on first-name basis. How's it like dating a girl like 𝗬𝗏𝗻𝗲? Kenure was trying to get the words out but didn't want to offend Momo and only ended up a stuttering mess. 𝗎𝗫 laughed at this. Well, eventually if you date you'll score big time, 𝗎𝗫 said as she went behind Momo. 𝗕𝗏𝗫𝗍𝗵𝗏. She's smart, kind, and has such a delightful body. 𝗎𝗫. Momo shouted as she smacked her hands away. But I forgot. Only JoJo was allowed to grope you. 𝗎𝗫 said. Wait, what? Kenure asked, confused. Oh yeah. Let me tell you something. When I last tried to grope her playfully, she told me that you were the only one allowed to grope her. 𝗎𝗫 said. I never said that. Momo shouted with her face beet red. She's lying. 𝗎𝗫 said as she winked at Kenure. Anyway, let me show you where the damage is. She showed them to the room where the Wi-Fi thing was acting wonky. This is where is it, 𝗎𝗫 said. We'll get it fixed, Kenure said. He took a few minutes taking a look at it. He then did a bit of tinkering with the adapter. After a while, he turned on the Wi-Fi on the Xbox and it was working normally again. And first job complete, 𝐭𝐚𝐲 said. So is this what you plan to do for a living? 𝗔𝗂𝘁𝗵𝗲 asked. Well, one of many things. I also plan to become a pro gamer on YouTube and also be a hero, 𝐭𝐚𝐲 told her. I plan to go to UA. Well, I'll be damned, me too, 𝗔𝗂𝘁 said. Same with my boyfriend. You and the guitar player hooked up? Momo asked. No, not him, 𝗔𝗂𝘁 said. This guy has a lightning quirk, but he tends to become an idiot when overusing it. Meanwhile, a certain blonde sneezed. Wait, was 𝐒𝐭𝐞𝐲 talking about me again? Well, you completed your first job, Momo said. How does it feel? Great, 𝐭𝐚𝐲 said. I feel like I actually did something with my life. Momo then pulled 𝐭𝐚𝐲 into a hug. Think normal thoughts, think normal thoughts, think normal thoughts. He tried his best to focus his mind from the fact that his face was getting squished by 2 flesh pillows. But he is still a teenager getting squished by 2 flesh pillows. 𝐒𝐭𝐞𝐲 saw this and laughed her butt off. You'll be doing a lot more later in life, she said. 𝗔𝗂𝘁, Momo said. What? I'm just saying. Momo sighed and took 𝐭𝐚𝐲's hand. Come on, 𝐭𝐚𝐲, Momo said. Oh, and JoJo. Make sure you wine and dine her before you too foo. 𝗔𝗂𝘁 shut up. Momo shouted before 𝗔𝗂𝘁 could finish that sentence. The entrance exam. A few more months passed. Izuku quickly got up using 1% of OFA. Today was the day of the entrance exams, and he was more than ready. After spending a few years training with One for All, he could use 50% of the power without any backlash. With full Cowling, he was more than a chance for anything that got in his way. He got himself ready and then heard a knock on the door. Are you using One for All in there? Inko asked. Well, I was only using 1%, Izuku said. Well, I doubt anyone would notice, but please be careful, Inko said. Izuku walked out of his room and got himself some toast. Hey, where's Dad? Izuku asked. He's already at the school judging, Inko said. Good luck, Izuku, you'll do great. Thanks, Mom, Izuku said. Izuku went to Ochako's apartment to pick her up. They were planning to walk to the school together. He knocked on the door and Ochako came out, Sato behind her. Good luck, you kids. Sato said. Have fun with it, but be careful. We will, Izuku said. The two of them started heading to UA. 𝐭𝐚𝐲 was on his way to the same school, walking on the sidewalk. As he continued walking, a car approached him. The window opened, revealing Momo and her dad. Ah, 𝐭𝐚𝐲, Mr. Yorozu said, taking a walk. Would you like a ride? Oh no, I'm heading to UA to take the entrance exam, 𝐭𝐚𝐲 answered. Oh, that's good, we're going that way, Mr. Yorozu stated with a smile. Hop in. If you insist, 𝐭𝐚𝐲 said as he got in. 𝐭𝐚𝐲 was taking a ride with the 𝐎𝐽 to UA. So created any new items? Momo asked with a smile. Actually, I've started creating these things called presets, 𝐭𝐚𝐲 said. Check it out. He showed her a preset that said Arkham Knight. From the Batman Arkham games. Momo asked. Correct, 𝐭𝐚𝐲 said. I'm also planning on using more than just Mario items during the exam. Maybe a bit of street fighting magic, if you know what I mean. Mr. Yorozu chuckled. I see someone is a man of culture, he said. You can't be the classics, 𝐭𝐚𝐲 said. They soon made it to UA grounds. 𝐭𝐚𝐲 got his stuff. Thanks for the lift, sir, 𝐭𝐚𝐲 said. He started heading out. Momo followed him. 𝐭𝐚𝐲, wait, you forgot something, Momo said. No, I'm pretty sure I got everything I need. Pencils, notebooks, exam gear, and, as 𝐭𝐚𝐲 continued, Momo took this opportunity to approach the shorter boy and give him a small but tender kiss on the cheek. For luck, she said. She went back into the car. At this, 𝐭𝐚𝐲 was walking like a love-struck idiot. 𝗔𝗂𝘁 noticed him walking by and smirked. Oh, I am so gonna tease him for this, she said while looking at the readers. The exam went on as planned. Everyone was taking the written portion, and then came the most important part, the physical portion. It was being instructed by none other than Present Mike. The physical portion was kinda like a points game. People were gonna be around the city finding robots worth a certain number of points, using their quirks and smart thinking. 𝐭𝐚𝐲 noticed something. He then raised his hand. A question. Present Mike asked. Well, sir, you say there's 3 robots out there, but I noticed a 4th type of robot, 𝐭𝐚𝐲 stated. You are correct, little listener. Present Mike said, and also to my little nephew listener out there somewhere in the crowd, good luck out there. 𝗧𝗵𝗲𝗧𝗵𝗲𝗧𝗵𝗲 Izuku said as he was geeking out. 𝗧𝗵𝗃 chill out fam, Cammy said. Later on everyone was on the bus and heading into the city. Izuku saw Ochako doing a few stretches. Izuku was about to walk up to her until he felt a hand on his shoulder. Are you planning to distract her and make her lose focus? He asked. Wait, hold on. I was only going up to her to wish her luck. I just do happen to know her personally. Izuku told him. Oh, my apologies, the boy said. Alright, let's go. There's no countdown in hero work. Present Mike said. Everyone started running around fighting robots. 𝗵𝐶 pulled out the arm cannon from the Metroid games. Let's do this, he said. He went around and started firing shots at robots, earning him a few points. In another area, Izuku was dashing around at fast speeds, using 40% of One for All. He was punching robots as they came closer to him. After a while he started to feel a bit sore. Maybe I should dial it down a bit, Izuku said. He channeled down to 20% of his power. That's better. Katsuki was blowing up robots using explosions. Meanwhile, Ochako was making robots weightless and dropping them, making them all blow up. Everyone was showing great promise. All Might was watching them. That's my boy, Toshinori said. So the rumors are true, Enizu said. You gave your son One for All. Yes, sir, Toshinori said. I would have given him the quirk even if he was quirkless. He has the true heart of a hero, and will no doubt go down in history as the next symbol of peace. Don't go playing favorites, All Might, Aizawa said. Izuku grabbed a robot before it could crush him, and lifted it up, destroying it. Kenure continued blasting robots away. These things are child's play, Kenure said. I want to fight something bigger. He heard footsteps. From the shadows was a giant robot walking up to the examinees. It was a massive 𝗧𝗓𝗍. Everyone was watching the behemoth of a robot walk around. Izuku scooped up Ochako, bridal style, and carried her to safety. Kenure looked at the robot and smirked. It's time you picked on someone your own size, he said. He hit an item block and grabbed a giant mushroom. He then ate the whole thing in one bite. He started to grow into tremendous height, as big as the 𝗧𝗓𝗍 itself. Jiro saw this and she was amazed. Holy SHT, she shouted. Kenure then punched the robot hard. In a single punch, he demolished it and sent it falling down, opposite of where the examinees were. He then shrunk down to normal size. People started to clap and cheer for Kenure, amazed by the deed he accomplished, saving all those people. Kenure raised his hand in victory. I could have done that, Katsuki said, but he did good. Aizawa was amazed that he saw that. I don't know who this kid is, but I want him in my class, Aizawa said. Him and the green-haired boy. Done. Nizu said. In a quiet town, there lived a woman by the name of Winry Jotaro. Her quirk allowed her to create wireframes of anything she could imagine. She lived a happy, peaceful, and basic life. She made her living working alongside her boyfriend Sai, creating plays and musical ideas. Winry, I swear, you get better with your projections every day, Sai told her with a smile. Why thank you, Winry said, and you as well with your many characters. Well, I do get my ideas from video games, Sai told her. The two of them were deeply in love. They had each other and their dreams. They were running a scene he was planning. There's something I'm not sure what it is, but it's something that will grab the audience, Sai said. Oh wait. Now I remember. Winry watched Sai bend down on one knee. He pulled out a wedding ring and held it in front of her. He then said the 4 words that would change her life forever. Winry, will you marry me? He asked. Tears of happiness streamed down her face. She nodded and said, yes. The two of them shared a kiss. She took his hand and they ran to her house. Mother, you won't believe what's, she started before seeing another person speaking to their parents. Winry, show some respect to our guests. Her father said. He pointed to a well-dressed man. The man turned to Winry and smiled. So this is the delicate desert flower I have heard so much about, he said. My name is Howard Norstein. Hi. Winry asked, unsure what's going on. It is an honor to meet your acquaintance, Howard said, taking her hand and kissing it, much to her confusion and 𝗧's dismay. Winry, I would like you to meet your new future husband. Winry's father said. What? Winry and 𝗧 shouted in unison. Hold your tongue, young lady, her father said. This man comes from a very rich family and has asked us for your hand in marriage. But I can't, Winry said. You can't? Her father asked, and why not? 𝗵𝘃𝗁 proposed to her. 𝗧 said, is that so? Winry's father asked. Yes, and I said yes, so I've already decided. Winry answered. Well, cancel that decision. You will wed Howard and say goodbye to this normal life of yours. But it's time you started living the life of a high-class woman and stop wasting time on such commoners. Dear, I think we should, Winry's mother said, trying to defend her daughter, but was interrupted. No, her father snapped. Winry, call off the engagement immediately. No, she said quietly. What? I said no, she shouted, raising her voice. I love 𝗧 and I always have since the day we met. You can't just force me into a marriage to someone I don't even know. Slap. Winry fell to the floor, her hand on the cheek where she was slapped. 𝗧 was infuriated with what he did and tried to attack him. However, Howard's eyes were glowing and he was somehow stopping him. 𝗧 couldn't move a single muscle or anything. You shan't have done that, Howard said. Now you will take your things and leave. I'm not leaving here without her, 𝗧 said. Yes, you are. With a flick of the wrist, Howard sent 𝗧 flying and he hit a wall and was unconscious. Finish him, Winry's father said. Howard was about to finish him off. However, Winry intervened. No, stop, she shouted. I will marry you. Just don't hurt him. Howard stopped for a moment. He then smirked. You have my word. Winry, 𝗧 said as he fell unconscious. Get him to a hospital. And make sure he forgets about my daughter. His men did as they were told. Winry tearfully walked away with Howard. There was a press conference talking about how Howard, the man of his big business, found himself a wife. He turned to Winry. When you write your goodbye letter, make sure it is something that your parents will remember them by. Goodbye letter. After this day, you are not to say a word about your old home, family, or your old life ever again, Howard said as he kissed her cheek. As of today, you belong to the company and to me. Winry was shocked by what he just said. Results: Izuku carried Ochako back to her apartment after the entrance exam had ended. He then placed her gently on the bed so she could rest easily. He noticed that she was trembling a bit. She seemed like she was having a nightmare. Izuku decided to give her a soft, chaste kiss on the forehead to calm her down. Good night, Ochako, he said. Izuku turned around and closed the door to her room only to see Maruki shooting him a glare. And just what were your intentions with my daughter, young man? He asked in a stone-cold voice. Izuku was nervous. I just wanted to, he said, stammering much to Maruki's amusement. He then patted the young boy's back and laughed. Ha, I'm just teasing, son. He said. So, what happened to make you have to carry Ochako home? A crazy entrance exam, Kenure said. Fortunately, we made it without so much as a single scrap. That's good, Maruki said with a smile. You tend to worry a lot about her, but it shows you care. Of course, Izuku said. I'd do anything for her. In fact, if she were homeless, I'd invite her to my apartment and help her in any way I can. Maruki smiled at the boy. I'm very pleased to hear that, lad, he said, because I have some news. My wife and I got some good jobs coming up. We don't want to tear the two of you apart, so we're having her move in with you and your parents. Izuku was shocked by the news and smiling. That's all right, isn't it? He asked. Of course it is, she's practically family to me, Izuku said. Maruki smiled. I'm glad to hear. If you two end up dating, you have my blessing. He patted his head. Later on, Izuku headed home to tell his mom about what happened. As I was battling robots, I heard footsteps, Izuku explained. It was a giant 𝗲𝗄𝗏, the size of a skyscraper. People were running away from it and it was scary. You should have seen Izuku turned to see his mother foaming from fear and shock. My heart hurts to hear you say such things. Mom, please calm down. Izuku told her. Inko collected herself after a few seconds. Izuku finished explaining what happened. Aside from that, the exam went well, Izuku said. I'm really getting the handle on Dad's quirk. That's good, sweetie, Inko said. So you said you can handle how much power? Django asked. 40%, Izuku answered. Well, OFA might be enhancing your own quirk as well, Nana said. I remember one time your mother tried using her quirk and accidentally pulled our neighbor's car into the 𝗵𝗃. Inko shouted. You swore you'd never tell anyone that story. What? It's funny, Nana said. Later on during that week, Izuku was lifting weights working on his quirk. A strong quirk requires a strong body after all. Inko barged in with a letter from you, Izu. Your letter, it's here. Inko shouted. Izuku opened the letter, showing All Might on the screen. I am here with your test results. Dad? Izuku asked. You're probably wondering why this is me on the screen. Well, surprise, surprise, as I will be part of the a staff starting this year. All Might exclaimed. Now on to the results. On the written test, you scored a perfect score. Izuku sighed in relief. As for the physical portion, you passed with flying colors, earning yourself a nice 100 points. All Might said, that alone would be enough to pass. Especially with the people you rescued. Rescue points were also a deciding factor. You scored 160 points, putting you in the second highest ranking student in the entrance exam. Wait second. Izuku asked, then who got first? Kenure was staring at the letter with a surprised expression. Not only did he get accepted into UA, but he also got first place out of everyone. He turned to his mother. They both started screaming loudly, and he was hugged by his stepdad. I'm so proud of you, Kenure. Winry said, I knew you'd pass, but getting first place. My dream of being a hero will finally come to pass, Kenure said. I never thought this day would come. Meanwhile, Ochako was hugging her parents while crying tears of happiness. For two reasons. First, for making it into UA, and second, they got good jobs and she was gonna move in with Izuku. Now she would definitely get a chance to confess to mind your own business narrator. Ochako said, What? It's obvious you want a please stand by. Meanwhile, in another location, someone was at his office, looking out into the mirror. He looked at an old picture of Yorichi and another gentleman by them. You were such a fool, Shigaraki, he said. We could have ruled the world together. But now it is too late. Someone approached his quarters. Sir, we've found the boy, he stated. He appears to be attending you. The man chuckled. It has begun, he said. First day. It was the first day of school. Kenure was walking to the gates of UA. This is it, he said, my first step to heroism. Kenure, yelled a familiar voice. He turned around to see Momo running up to him. However, he also saw something else. Her tips bouncing about as she was running. And he tried to not look at the bouncing melons, but it seemed as if God betrayed him on that when he made him stand just above her chest to begin with. And he tried to not look at the bouncing melons, but it seemed as if God betrayed him on that when he made him stand just above her chest to begin with. One credit goes to 𝗂𝗵𝗃 on DeviantArt, curse my height. Kenure, you made it? Momo said, just like I knew you would. Hi Momo, Kenure said, you look great in that uniform. Momo laughed at this. Accidentally said that out loud, Kenure. She asked, giggling, you look great in it too though. Thanks, Kenure said, so it looks like this is where we have class together. Most definitely. Hey guys, shouted a familiar voice. It was none other than 𝗂𝐭𝐴 in the UA school garb. Looks like we're all classmates. 𝗂𝐵 said with a smile. Oh great, more teasing, Kenure thought. 𝗂𝐵 accidentally bumped into Kenure, making him fall headfirst into Momo's soft melons. Oops, she said, sarcastically. 𝗂𝐵. Momo shouted. What? It's obvious you two are dating. You don't think I saw you kiss his cheek before the entrance exam? You how what? Momo asked. Oh my god. Now you're beginning to sound like Kenure. Jiro told her. Jojo, called another voice. Kenure turned to see Izuku, Ochako, Katsuki, and Cammy walking by. Hey guys. Kenure said, looks like you all made it as well. So who's the ponytail? Katsuki asked. Oh, guys, this is my best friend Momo Yaoyorozu, Kenure said. Momo waved and bowed. It's nice to meet all of you, Momo said. Kenshi's told me a lot about you. Well, let's head in, Izuku said. Izuku opened the doors and saw a lot of new faces. Katsuki made himself comfortable on a couch and Cammy sat on his lap. Ochako looked around. Wow, everyone looks so friendly. I can't wait to meet everyone, she said. If you're just here to make friends, then you can pack up your SHT and get the F out, said a familiar voice. Everyone turned to see a man in a sleeping bag. The man got up and Izuku instantly recognized him. Aizawa looked at Izuku and took a few steps back. Izuku rushed into him, hugging him and tackling him to the ground. Uncle 𝗧𝗵𝗲. Izuku said. Uncle. The entire class said. Yagi, get the hell off of me, he said. Oops. Sorry. Izuku said. Anyway, terrible to meet you all. I'm Shota Aizawa, your teacher. He pulled out a gym uniform. Put these on and meet me outside. He slithered away. Later on, everyone was outside in their gym uniforms. Aizawa looked at them all. So, today we're gonna have a quirk apprehension test, Aizawa said. The reason being is because I want to see what your quirks are made of. Jotaro stepped forward. Kenure walked up to a punching machine. You got first place in the entrance exams, right? He asked. Yes, sir, Kenure said. Punch this machine using your quirk, Aizawa said. Anything goes as long as you hit it. Kenure then took out Little Mac's punching gloves, charged up an attack and sucker punched the machine. Aizawa analyzed the punch. Intriguing, Aizawa said. So we get to use our quirks. This is gonna be fun. A pink-skinned Meijin said. Izuku, Katsuki, Kenure and Ochako all face-palmed hearing this. Fun, huh? Aizawa said, smirking under his scarf. How about this? The one who comes in last will be deemed without potential and expelled. Wait, what? A red-haired boy asked. Expelled? But we just got here. The Meijin said. And stop calling me a Meijin. You think hero work is all fun and games. Well, it's serious work, Aizawa stated. At UA we train people to be the best heroes possible, and we're entitled to run classes whatever way we want. Show me that you belong here. The first test was the running test. Izuku was next to Katsuki, Ida, and a French dude named Aoyama. His quirk allowed him to shoot lasers from his hands and feet. He could also shoot from his navel, but let's not get into that. Well, here goes, Izuku thought. One for all, full Cowling 20%. Izuku dashed fast from the others. Katsuki saw this and only smirked. Beginner's luck, Deku scrub, Katsuki said. Next up was the grip test. Izuku used 40% of OFA on this test and crushed the machine. Good work, Yagi, but would it kill you not to break the machines? Aizawa asked. You said to give it my all, and that's what I'm doing, Izuku said. Aizawa just sighed at this. Me and my big mouth. There were a lot of tests. Everyone was giving it the best they can on all of them. Ochako did the softball throw and got a score of infinity. There was a boy who could conduct electricity, another student who could harden himself. Through most of the tests, Kenure used the super mushroom since it enhanced his strength and physicality. The final test was the punching machine. Since Kenure already went, he was excluded from this test. After everyone went, it was Izuku's turn. Izuku went up and he was thinking of an idea. So if I start off at an output I'm comfortable with, and then increase that output, the second of the attack, it might help. He thought. Anytime tomorrow, problem child, Aizawa said. Oh, sorry. Izuku said. He then powered up one for all and charged up a punch. He started off at 15%, but as soon as he punched the machine, he raised the power level to 50%, effectively destroying it. Everyone except Katsuki, Ochako, and Kenure were looking in amazement and reacted with awe. Aizawa was most impressed. This kid, he said with a smirk at that. The tests were over. They were now waiting for their scores. Kenure somehow got first place. Izuku was in second, then Katsuki and down. The last person was Toru 𝗧𝗪𝗂𝗧. 𝗧𝗪𝗂𝗧 was seen falling to her invisible knees, thinking her career as a hero was over. And I was lying. No one's going home. Aizawa said. Wait, what? 𝗧𝗪𝗂𝗧 asked, wiping her tears away. That was just a rational deception to make sure you gave it your all in the tests. So, breaking the equipment wasn't even necessary. Izuku asked. What do you think, problem child? Aizawa asked. Well, I think it was pretty pointless given that I'm in second place. Izuku shouted. Oh, quit being a sore loser. Aizawa told him. With that, everyone went back inside to collect their class syllabus and left for the day. Izuku, Ochako and Katsuki decided to leave together, since Izuku and Ochako lived in the same apartment now. Kenure waked home with Momo. She noticed a notebook with quirks. I see Yagi may have spread his analysis over to you, Momo said. Yeah, I may be a gamer, but I also have a thing for quirks too, Kenure said. Momo noticed a costume idea for her. Momo said, this one might work for me. Hero costumes. It was the second day of hero school. Everyone was waiting for the hero class to start. Before that, there were classes like history, writing, and literature. Since we got time to kill, how about we all get to know each other, Izuku said. Who wants dibs on going first? Izuku asked the class. The Meijin girl jumped up from her seat and shouted, Mimi, let me go first. Izuku just nodded and told her, pick the person you want to hear after you. Alright, the name's Mina Ishido. My quirk allows me to secret acid from my body and is the reason my skin is pink and my eyes are black. I can control the density, strength, and type of acid I secrete. I love to dance and hate pervs. Also please call me Mina. Mina told the class. The next person I pick is Ijiro Kirishima. My name is Ijiro Kirishima. My quirk allows me to harden every part of my body. It's best used for offensive attacks. Kirishima said, my favorite hobbies include working out. My name is Tenya Ida, he said, introducing himself. My quirk allows me to run at fast speeds. However, if I keep it up for too long, the engines will stall and I would need to give them a rest. I'm here at you. To honor the family name. Everyone clapped their hands. Thank you, Ida said as he passed the bottle to Momo. Hello, my name is Momo Yaoyorozu, she said. My quirk is creation. I can create almost anything from the lipids in my body as long as I remember the material and what it's called. Can you make a bow and arrow? Kirishima asked. Possibly. How about a filing cabinet? Kaminari asked. Why would I want to make a, I'll give you $5 right now if you make a filing cabinet, Kaminari said. If you like to talk so much, why don't you take the next turn, said Kyukijiro, the girl with an earjack quirk. Gladly, Kaminari said. My name is Denki Kaminari. My quirk allows me to manipulate electricity. Though I gotta be careful with how much I use, otherwise let's just say you don't want to see it. He passed the bottle over to a boy named 𝗏𝗄𝐻𝗄𝐻. My name is 𝗏𝗏𝗄𝐻𝗄𝐻 and I can talk to animals, he wrote on a piece of paper. He passed the baton over to Kenure. My name is Kenure Jotaro, and my quirk allows me to use video game items in combat. Kenure said, observe. He pulled out a fire flower. He squeezed the flower in the palm of his hands, and his clothes started to change color, with streaks of red and white. There were also fire streaks in his hair. Kenure had the power to create fireballs, much to everyone's amazement. Whoa, that is sick. A boy named Siro said, my name is Hanta Siro and I can create tape from my elbows. My name is Yuga Aoyama, and I can project laser beams from my arms and legs. I can also produce it from a specific area, but it gives me a tummy ache. After a few more people, it was time for Izuku. My name is Izuku Yagi, and I surprisingly have 2 quirks. The first one being a telekinetic quirk from my mom's side, and the other being a super strength quirk from my dad. This guy is not someone you want to mess with, Katsuki said. You'll see why. As everyone was getting settled, they heard some triumphant laughter. It could only belong to one person. I am walking through the door like a normal person. All Might said. All Might, screamed the whole class. Yes, it is I, flexing heroically in my Silver Age costume, prepared to teach you all the basics of being a hero. All Might said before spotting Izuku, "Hello my son." All Might quickly covered his mouth. Izuku face-palmed himself realizing his dad just spilled the beans. There was a moment of silence throughout the entire class. What? Everyone except Katsuki and Ochako screamed. 𝗎𝗓 then walked in with a step ladder, stood up, climbed it and then slapped All Might across the face. "You had one job," he told him. Just the one," 𝗎𝗓 said. "In any case, children, this is a very big secret and you must keep it contained." "Yes, sir," the class said. "Thank you," 𝗎𝗓 said. He then got down from the ladder, folded it up and walked out mumbling angrily. Moving on, what good is a hero without their hero gear? He pressed a button revealing 20 cases for each of the students. "Our armor," Kirishima said. "Hell yeah," Kaminari said. "Now get suited up and meet me at Beta City," All Might said. After a few minutes everyone started coming out in their new threads. Kenure walked out in some kind of VR boot suit and a helmet. He took the helmet off and smiled at all his classmates. "Kenure, your costume looks so cool," Momo said, running over to him. He got a look at Momo's costume and instantly turned red. Momo was dressed in a leotard that was a bit revealing, her arms, her legs, and also a bit of 𝗧𝐬𝐴. "Narrator, you're not helping," Kenure said. There were others like Toru Hagakure. Her quirk allowed her to turn invisible, so her costume was made to disappear like she did. Izuku came out as well and greeted the others. He had on a green battle suit with spikes on his arms to cushion his arms when throwing punches. He also had a mask for breathing. "Wow, Deku, you look amazing," Ochako said, coming out in her hero costume. "Thanks, Oka," Izuku said. "I dig your costume too." She had on some kind of pink space-like costume that seemed skin-tight. Next to her was Cammy, who had on a simple costume. A hat and some kind of zip-up costume. "You look hot, Cammy," Katsuki said. "You too, Baku-boo," Cammy said. "You look like a human grenade." "I'll take that as a compliment," Katsuki said. "I could have sworn I told my students to meet me out here, but all I see are future heroes." All Might said, "So today we will be having battle training. 2 groups of 2 will go head-to-head as heroes and villains." "I see, so it's a way to get us working together and see what our quirks are capable of," Ida stated. He was wearing some kind of engine armor. "Correct, Ida." All Might said, "The scenario is this. There is a computer inside of the building that will spread dangerous gas throughout the city. The villains will guard the said computer. Meanwhile, the heroes will go in and attempt to stop this gas from being let out. The heroes win if they either capture both villains or stop the computer, and the villains win if the timer runs out." "Like Metal Gear Solid," Kenure said. "I'm not sure what that is, but you may be right, young Jotaro." All Might said, "Now on to the teams." All Might picked the teams that would be together. As if by fate, Izuku and Ochako were part of the same team, same with Kenure and Momo. Other students were paired with the other classmates. "Wow, we're a team," Ochako said with a smile. "Wow, I gotta make a good impression," Izuku thought. "Wow, looks like we'll be working together, Momo," Kenure said. "I'll try my best not to hold you down." "Nonsense, Kenure, our quirks will work perfectly together," Momo said with a smile. "And now for the first match, I declare that these 2 teams will go together." All Might stated. Team A Izuku and Ochako were the heroes while Team D Katsuki and Ida were the villains. Izuku and Katsuki looked at each other and smirked. "Should I be concerned about this?" Kirishima asked. "Bakugo and Deku are fated rivals," Ochako said. "It's nothing more than a friendly match for them." Katsuki started walking into the building. "Better give it your all, Deku," Katsuki said to his pal. Heroes versus villains. The first match officially began. Izuku and Ochako entered the building. They were walking around trying to find the room with the computer in it. Izuku heard faint footsteps that were starting to get faster. "Ochako, get ready," Izuku said. Ochako nodded. "Surprise Mothaf." Katsuki dashed forward, throwing an explosion at the 2. Izuku dodged to the right while Ochako jumped up. She was levitating in the air, much to Izuku's surprise. "Wow, I guess that training course paid off," she said with a smile. Well, you're full of surprises, Izuku said. Katsuki looked at Izuku and smirked. Let's see this power of yours up close, Deku, Katsuki said. Think you can take me on? I don't think, Izuku said. I know. Izuku activated One for All, channeling it throughout his entire body at 20%. Back in the surveillance room, everyone else was watching. That's kinda low doing a surprise attack, Kirishima said. Well, it's also a good strategy, to catch the villains by surprise, All Might added. Katsuki smirked and had explosions ready. Don't hold back, Kaken, I can take it, Izuku said. Wouldn't have it any other way, Katsuki said. Using the explosions, he dashed forward and lunged to Izuku. He then put his hand out throwing an explosion. Izuku dodged to the left. Katsuki turned around and started blasting explosion after explosion. Izuku dodged left and right, barely getting caught in any of the blasts. Alright, enough kid stuff, Katsuki said. Take this. Izuku smirked and put his hands out, stopping Katsuki in place. What the? He said in shock. Izuku was using his telekinesis quirk to keep him in place. By moving his hand in a swift motion, he pushed Katsuki into a wall. Katsuki got back up. Alright, now it's my turn, Katsuki said. You and Round Face have some cool upgrades to your quirk, I'll give you that. But I got some upgrades of my own. He channeled an explosion his right hand and threw it at Izuku. Izuku jumped up and did a few wall jumps before lunging at Katsuki, his right arm channeled with OFA. Smash! He punched Katsuki hard, sending him flying through many walls. Katsuki got himself back up. All Might was watching his son. My boy. You've grasped the power so well, he thought. You'll be a greater hero than I ever was. Meanwhile, with 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗲 was walking around trying to find the room with the computer. She found it, and 𝗬𝗲 practicing some kind of villainous monologue. It was so funny and she started to laugh. He's so serious. 𝗬𝗲 heard her. Uraraka, is that you? 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗲 said. Izuku was running from Katsuki, who was hurling explosions at him. Deku, I found the computer. 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗲 said through his communicator, but 𝗬𝗲 has me cornered. I'm on my way. Izuku said, I got a plan, but I'll need you to trust me. I always trust you, 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗲 said. Izuku then stopped at a dead end. Looks like I got you cornered, Deku, Katsuki said. You see these gauntlets I got? They aren't just for show. They store the sweat from my palms, allowing me to throw bigger explosions. He pulled the trigger, and an explosion was released. Izuku just stood there. He then put his two hands out, stopping the explosion and throwing it upwards, destroying a wall. The shock was enough to surprise 𝗬𝗲. 𝗬𝗧𝗵𝗲 used this distraction to make herself weightless and jumped to the computer, shutting down the gas. Heroes win. All Might shouted later on. Everyone was back in the main room. Alright, who can tell me who the MVP is? All Might said. There is actually no MVP here, sir, but everyone here has played an important part in the exercise, Momo said, raising her hand. First off, Yagi. He knows his quirk is powerful, but he limited himself to keep from causing collateral damage, and he also used his opponent's quirk against him to protect himself. As for Uraraka, she managed to take the distracted 𝗬𝗲 as an opportunity to go and shut down the computer, doing so quickly. Bakugo was forceful with his quirk, yes, but he managed to stick to his assigned role without causing serious injury. 𝗬𝗲 also took his role very seriously. Everyone was shocked at how Momo was spitting up such intriguing facts about everyone. That's a lot of facts, but that is very true, All Might said. Each of you did an incredible job on the exercise. I'm kinda jealous how he managed to use my explosions against me, Katsuki said. Alright, the next team will know these guys. All Might said. It was Team B, Kenure and Momo as the villains versus Team J, Kaminari and Jiro as the heroes. Inside the building, Kenure and Momo were thinking of a plan. He turned to face Momo and asked a question only to face her rear. He quickly turned around with a red face. 𝗵𝗃 Kenure, are you okay? Momo asked. I'm fine, Kenure said. So I guess barricading the room is part of your plan. Yes, Momo explained. These bars should keep them from getting in. I got another idea, Kenure said, pulling out the cloaking device from Perfect Dark. What did you have in mind? Momo asked. Meanwhile, Kaminari and 𝗓𝗪 were going around trying to find the bomb. No luck? 𝗓𝗪 said. This place is like a frickin' maze. 𝗓𝗪 then put her jacks in the wall, looked at 𝗓𝗪 and then pointed upwards. She apparently heard Kenshi's footsteps, which was short-lived when Denki found out his shoes were tied together, causing 𝗓𝗪 to laugh. What happened? You forgot to tie your shoes. She saw a blur dashing around the room. Thinking quickly, she plugged her earphones into the ground and listened to the sound of the footsteps. When she saw an opening, she did a roundhouse kick, hitting Kenure in the chest. The effect of the cloaking device wore off due to how hard he was hit. Wow, those earphone jacks are truly a weapon to behold, Kenure said. You're demon right they are, 𝗓𝗪 said. You best give up and tell me where the computer room is, Tiny. I'll show you who's tiny, Kenure said. He pulled out the super mushroom and ate it, growing a bit in size. He was the same height as 𝗓𝗪. Kenure got into a fighting stance and motioned for her to come at him. 𝗓𝗪 lunged at Kenure using her earphone jacks as a means of attacking to keep her distance. Kenure put his parkour training to good use and dodged the attacks by ducking and moving to the left and the right. Kenure then punched 𝗓𝗪, sending her back. Didn't your mother ever tell you not to hit a lady? 𝗓𝗪 asked. He then jumped at a wall and did a wall jump, then slammed on the ground using his buttocks. It was enough to make her lose her balance and tumble to the floor. 𝗓𝗪 started using her earphone jacks to try and hit Kenure once more, and he did a few backflips. He then pulled out a pokeball from his inventory and threw it. It released a 𝗓𝗪𝗻, which released some kind of sleep move onto 𝗓𝗪. She was starting to fall asleep. You motherfucker, she said before she hit the floor Kenure. Then tied them both using the capture tape. They were tied to each other, face to face. Villains win. All Might said. DMN, Kirishima said, JoJo just turned invisible using a cloaking device. He's got one super OP quirk. After a few more matches, All Might congratulated everyone. You all did amazing in class today. I look forward to our next class. All Might said, until then, All Might away. He dashed off into the sky. Dude, you're lucky to have the #1 hero as your dad, Kaminari said. I'm not that lucky, Izuku said. Meanwhile, in another unknown location, someone was working on some kind of creation. It had bulging muscles, a beak-like mouth, and some veins all around its body. A man with silver and blue skin was developing it. You think he's ready? A man with hands asked. Yes, he said. The only thing left to be done is give it a few abilities, then it will be complete. We will put an end to this foolish hero society once and for all. Class president another day has emerged. Kenure was walking to class alongside Momo. They agreed to walk to class together. As Kenure and Momo were walking, they were confronted by 𝐒𝐻𝗫, who walked out of his homeroom. What do you think you're doing with my chick Jotaro? He asked. Kenure looked around and didn't see anyone. Oh wait, I don't see one, Kenure said. I'm talking about Yayorozu, 𝐒𝐻𝗫 said. She's my chick and you have no right to be around her. Your chick? Momo asked, as if, and before you ask, no, I'm not tired of him and I never will be. So quit hitting on me. 𝗓𝗪 saw this and rushed over to their aid. She had her earphone jacks up as if they were fighting hands. Scram, you overgrown absorption prick, 𝗓𝗪 said. Do you not know who you're talking to? 𝐻𝗫 asked with his ego dripping off of him. Oh hey, sorry, I mistook you for a giant pile of this. Now please get out of our way and leave us alone, would you? 𝗓𝗪 asked. Aizawa walked out of the homeroom to confront the students. Is there a problem? Then I suggest you get back to your homeroom, Aizawa said. Come on, I gotta teach this brat a lesson for stealing my... Aizawa's hair started to rise and his eyes turned red. Are you questioning me? Aizawa asked. Not at all, sir. 𝗓𝗫 started to head back to his dorm. Aizawa began to laugh. My god, that dude is so gullible, he said. Kenure, Momo, and 𝗓𝗪 were confused. I mean, he's smart as a WHP. Just a sucker. That last word, his voice changed to a female. He then started to melt and turn into a girl with blonde hair and 2 messy buns. The name's Himiko Toga, second year at UA. I'm Kenure, Kenure said, This is Momo and 𝗔𝗂𝘁. Well, hopefully we'll see each other again, Toga said walking away. Oh, and tell Izu and Oka I said hi. Sure, 𝗔𝗂𝘁 said. Everyone was in their respective classes. All right, I have your battle training results, Aizawa said. Yagi, keep working on that super strength quirk of yours. I know I said to give it your all, but don't use a specific output until you're ready for it. He turned to Kenure. As for you, Jotaro, you have great potential and show promise in the world of heroes. But don't get attached to one item. You have a large arsenal at your disposal. Use it. Yes, sir, Kenure said. Now you all need to pick a class president, Aizawa said. I propose we hold a vote, Ida suggested. That seems fair. Just have it done before my nap is over, Aizawa said, falling asleep. After a bit of voting it was decided. The class rep was Kenshi. Wait, how did I get all the votes? Kenure. So it's decided, Aizawa said. Jotaro is our class rep, and Yaoyorozu is our deputy. Let's do our best, Kenure. Momo said. It's an honor, Kenure said. His body was stiffened and hardened for humorous effect. Whoa, when did he learn to use my quirk? Kirishima asked. I think it's because he's nervous, Tsu said. Come to think of it, I don't think he's done something like this before. Later on at the cafeteria, Kenure had his head on the table, completely embarrassed by what just happened. Oh, come on, Kenure. It's not that bad. If anything, you should be happy. Momo told him while patting his back. Kenure said. But I completely embarrassed myself in front of the whole class. I'm not qualified for this. Sure you are, Cammy reassured him. You gave it your all in fight training, plus you saved dozens of people from that zero PTR. You even gave 𝗔𝗂𝘁 a run for her money during fight training. I heard that, hippie. 𝗔𝗂𝘁 said. Well, I'm not wrong, fam, Cammy replied to 𝗔𝗂𝘁. Well, I would have gotten him if he didn't know that my ears are sensitive. 𝗔𝗂𝘁 defended. Oh, actually, I kind of forgot that your ears were sensitive. Katsuki said. I guess I could give it a shot, Kenure said. That's the spirit, Kenure. Momo said as she patted his head once more. Kenure tried using the chopsticks to get the noodles. Momo giggled a bit seeing him struggle. This is how you use them, she said, showing him. She then fed him a bit. 𝗔𝗂𝘁 was watching. Yamamoto and JoJo are flirting. No, we are not. Kenure and Momo shouted. Kenure looked to his left and noticed something. Hey, is it me, or do Deku and Uraraka seem closer? Kenure. He saw them sharing a meal. Ochako fed him some of her lunch, and they were snuggling. The two of them admitted their feelings towards each other earlier in the week, and they began dating. Izuku was a blushing mess when he asked Ochako out and, mind your own business, narrator. Izuku said. What? I'm just telling them what happened. Wow, they're dating, 𝗔𝗂𝘁 said. About F time. Suddenly the alarm went off. What's going on? Ida asked. Someone's invaded the school. We gotta evacuate. Everyone started running for their lives. People were pushing and shoving trying to get out. 𝗔𝗂𝘁 grabbed Kaminari's hand to stay close to him. Kenure started climbing up to get to higher ground. Once he was away from the crowd, he looked out of the window and saw that it was those dumbass reporters. Are you kidding me? He heard a cry for help. He saw Momo struggling with the crowd. Momo, he shouted to get her attention. Using quick thinking, Kenure pulled out the web shooters from Spider-Man PS4. He then fired a web directly at Momo and pulled her up to where he was at, keeping her safe. He held her close to keep her balanced. Are you okay? I am now, Momo said. Thank you. Momo, can you make a megaphone? Kenure. Momo nodded. She started unbuttoning her shirt then stopped. What's wrong? Kenure. Momo gestured. Oh, sorry, he said. Momo created a megaphone and gave it to Kenure. Everyone is to OP. Kenure shouted. This caught everyone's attention. It's just the media trying to barge into UA and get questions about All Might. There's nothing to be afraid of. At this point everyone started acting civil and returned to their classes. All while the media was being chased away by the police. Kenure, that was amazing, Momo said. Thanks, Kenure said. Maybe I can do this whole class president thing. That's the spirit, Momo said. before noticing Kenshi's red face. What? Momo, Kenure said as he gestured to her shirt still unbuttoned, exposing her stomach, and Momo blushed and covered herself up, and then bowed to Kenure. Sorry you had to see that. 𝗔𝗂𝘁𝗵𝗲 was smirking. They're flirting again. Kenure and Momo continued having lunch together at the cafeteria. It's kind of funny, Momo. What? Kenure asked. Well, you used to call yourself a nerdy gamer, yet here you are keeping us from getting trampled and such. I'm still that nerdy gamer, but now I can actually use items and I'm in a hero school, Kenure said. Momo looked at Kenure. You're more than the items, they're all amazing, but they're nothing without the boy who uses them, Momo said, and what you did during fight training, and how you handled the crowd today proves that in more ways than one. She then put her hand on top of Kenshi's and smiled. You're my hero, Kenure, Momo said. I mean you're a hero. Kenure chuckled a bit, then a bit of silence. Well, you're my hero too, Momo. He told her. The two of them smiled at each other. They were then about to share a kiss until Yaoyorozu. Jotaro. Iida shouted, Mr. Aizawa has asked me to gather you for the USJ rescue training. Technically that's my job since I'm class president, Kenure said later on. Everyone was heading to the bus. They were going to the USJ to work on rescue training. Momo approached 𝗔𝗂𝘁𝗵𝗲. 𝗔𝗂𝘁𝗵𝗲, I think I have feelings for Kenure. 𝗔𝗂𝘁𝗵𝗲 looked up from her phone. Okay, why are you stating it like it isn't obvious? She asked. Wait, is it really that obvious? Momo asked while stuttering. Yamamoto, you spend almost every minute you can around him, you teamed up with him in fight training, and let's not forget the times you gave him good advice. Yes, it's that obvious. 𝗔𝗂𝘁𝗵𝗲 told the tall girl with a sly smirk. Momo started while twiddling with her thumbs. Well, I wonder if it would be selfish of me to ask him to spend some time with me outside of school. I don't want to intrude on his personal agenda. Yamamoto, please stop, you're too adorable, it's killing me. 𝗔𝗂𝘁𝗵𝗲 said, I'm confused about what you mean. Momo said, don't worry so much. I'm sure JoJo would love to spend some time with you. Okay everyone, let's get on the bus, Kenure said. Single file please. Everyone got on the bus single file as asked. Tsu approached Kenure. Hey JoJo, I have a question about your quirk, well both your quirk and Yagi's quirk. What do you want to know about my quirk, Azui? Kenure asked. Call me Tsu, Tsu stated. Sorry. Anyway, what's your question? Kenure asked. So you can summon any video game item? Tsu asked. Well, there are a few items I haven't tried, Kenure said. Maybe I need more experience points or something to unlock them. I did start using it more when I was 10. My dad wouldn't let me use my quirk in the house. What? Mina and Toru asked in unison. He thinks quirks are a curse in the world, or as he calls them, a virus, and thinks they should all disappear, like the superhuman society. Pardon my unmanly language, but F that guy. Kirishima said. Language? Iida said, okay now to you, Yagi. Tsu said, I noticed your second quirk, stockpile, is very similar to your dad. But in addition to that I noticed you can also fly and attract repel objects. Well, I guess I was just born lucky to have two quirks, Izuku told her. Well, I believe the both of you have amazing quirks, Aoyama said. You're bound to have a unique buffet of super moves. I myself have a support item for a new move called Naval Laser. It's a super move with the perfect combination of panache and strength, focusing power from my belly. But it's lame if it gives you a stomach ache after 1 second, sweetheart. Mina told him, patting him on the shoulder. Don't sweat it, Deku. I'm sure your super moves will be good. Ochako said as she pecked his cheek. For the last few years, Winry was living the life of a high-class woman and lived in a very rich mansion. Her husband had servants attend to her, giving her anything she needed. Soon she found herself pregnant with her first child and gave 𝗵𝗃𝗏 to him. She would spend every minute by his side. I think I'll name him Kenure, Winry said. She gave Kenure her maiden name Jotaro. Whereas she would show him love and compassion, Howard would be more strict with him, disciplining him for even the slightest act of disobedience. Winry was not approving of how harsh he was towards Kenure, believing everyone makes mistakes. Howard, however, disagreed with her, thinking Kenure should be perfect with every single detail. When Kenure turned 4, Winry snuck him out of the mansion and brought him to a quirk doctor. It was time to see what kind of quirk he would have. "Well, Mrs. Norstein, you should be proud," the doctor said. "Your son has a very unique quirk." "Really?" Winry asked. "Yep. It seems like he has a very strange and unique quirk. He has the ability to summon fictional weapons." The doctor noted. "Really?" the 4-year-old boy asked. "Yes," the doctor told him. "Try and think of one right now." Kenure thought about something. When he was younger, he played a Zelda game and looked at the 𝗵𝗃 sword thinking it was cool. He thought of that very sword and it magically appeared in his hand. "Oh, so cool," he said. "Very cool," the doctor said. "You will be a great hero with that quirk." "Hero? What's that?" Kenure asked, scratching his head. This shocked the doctor and his mother. "Oh, strange. Normally kids your age would be ecstatic about being a hero at your age." The doctor noted. Heroes are people that use their superpowers to help people and encourage them to follow their dreams, Winry said with a smile. "That's right. And with a quirk like yours, you can be one of the best," the doctor told him. Kenure smiled at those words. I want to be a hero," he said. At this, Winry and Kenure were happy with their visit and was on their way. The doctor then took his glasses off. "I'm getting too old for this," he said. A kid who's never heard of superheroes. What's next? A kid not believing they can be a hero without a superpower. Later on, Winry took Kenure back home. As they opened the door, they saw Howard sitting on a chair. "And where have you two been?" Howard asked. "His study session began 1 minute and 35 seconds ago and he's late." "We lost track of time," Winry made up an excuse. "Now where were you?" Howard asked. "I took Kenure to see the quirk doctor." Winry explained. "The quirk doctor? Well, I hope he hasn't learned any new words that he's not supposed to." Howard said. "Of course not," Winry said. "What I did learn about is heroes," Kenure said. "He said I have a quirk that's gonna make me a hero. When I grow up I'm gonna be the best." Slap. Kenure then fell to the floor as he started screaming from being slapped by his father. "Howard!" Winry shouted. "What is wrong with you? That word right there. That was the word I didn't want him to learn." Howard shouted. "Heroes have no place in this household." "But no buts," Howard stated. "Now you're late for your studies." He then started dragging him away. Later on, Kenure was in his room doing his studies. Worry and anger filling her eyes, Winry went to her so-called husband's room. "What was that all about?" "What do you mean?" Howard asked. "You just slapped your son and dragged him by his collar." Winry retorted. "Because he was following something that goes against my beliefs," Howard stated. "He should not be worshipping heroes." "Worshipping? You're comparing heroes to gods or something. He just looks up to them and wants to be one himself," Winry told him. "Kenure was put on this earth for one thing and one thing only," Howard said, "to take over the company when I retire. Not dwaddle in something as pointless as hero work." Pointless?" Winry asked. "Exactly. Heroes are nothing more than costume-wearing phonies that play pretend. And there shall be no talk of heroes in this house. No playing heroes, no talking about heroes, and no even thinking about heroes. Do I make myself clear? Clear as a mountain of 𝗧𝗔. You're really going to take away our son's childhood for some stupid company." Winry shouted. "The 𝐒𝐩𝐢𝐺 probably have more of a successful company than you'll ever." Before she could even finish her thought, Howard stood up and backhanded his own wife and she fell to the floor. "Don't you ever disrespect my company again." He walked out and slammed the door. At this, Winry just sat on the floor and hugged her legs as she cried into them. She missed her old life and her old family. She didn't want her son to be forced to be someone he wasn't. USJ invasion. Later on, the class arrived at the USJ. Everyone started to walk inside and see the many wonders that were everywhere. Various landscapes and areas to practice rescue training. As Aizawa was explaining the lesson that would happen, a shadow was merging with his shadow. Suddenly he was doing some weird movements. The class was laughing. Izuku noticed something. "Tenko you jackass," Izuku said with a chuckle. Everyone turned to see the pro hero, 𝗕𝗏𝗁𝗏𝗧𝗵𝗲, a shadow master. His quirk allowed him to manipulate his shadow and also possess other people. Next to him was his twin sister Hana, whose quirk enabled her to fly like Paragon. "Is that our little cousin Izuku?" Hana asked. "Yes it is, Hana. Glad to see you made into the hero course, cousin." Tenko said. "Glad to see you're following your dreams too," Izuku said. As the cousins had their little reunion, Ochako saw the space hero 13. 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏𝗏 𝗓𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and muttering just like Izuku does. Wow, looks like his muttering managed to spread, Katsuki said. One of the doors was barged open. It was a group of villains invading the USJ. One of them saw the students. "You think All Might will show if we harm some kids?" he asked. "Oboro, you keep the kids safe," Tenko said. Oboro started making warp gates to various areas. He was planning to divide and conquer. Aizawa started going after the villains. "Sir, can you handle all those villains yourself?" Kenure asked. "No pro hero is a one-trick pony," Aizawa said. "Now go." Momo grabbed Kenshi's hand and brought him into one of the warp gates. He saw colors of black and purple, then saw a light. Kenure fell to the ground. He looked around and based on his surroundings he was somewhere in the landslide zone. "Wow, that guy's quirk is no joke," he said. He moved his hand and felt something soft. "Wow, the terrain is kinda soft for a landslide area," he said. Kenure," said a familiar voice. "Please let go." "Ah," Kenure said as he released his hand from her 𝗵𝘃𝗍. "Momo, I'm so sorry, please don't hit me." "Kenure, it's okay," Momo said. "I know you didn't mean it. Are you okay?" "I am. What about you?" "You guys landed here too," 𝗔𝗂𝘁𝗵𝗲 said as she ran over along with Kaminari. "Looks like it," Kenure stated. "I hope the others are okay." "They might be, but you won't," said someone. They were looking at a few thugs who were in the same area as they were. Kenure got into a fighting stance, prepared to protect his friends. In another location, Izuku and Ochako landed on a boat. It looks like they were in the shipwreck area. Izuku saw something swimming in the water. The strange creature surfaced. Izuku and Ochako noticed it was just a classmate. "You definitely gave them a scare, Azui." She looked at the author. "I told you to call me Tsu. Are you two okay?" Izuku asked. "Yeah, we're fine. Looks like Tenko and the others managed to get us all into safe areas," Ochako said. There were a few low-level criminals in the area. One of them looked at Izuku. "Maybe All Might will come if we kill some kids," he said. Izuku channeled OFA around his entire body, at 20%. "Come at me," Izuku said. The crook came running at him with a crowbar. However, he was too slow. Izuku dashed at him and punched him in the gut, sending him flying. "That was barely a challenge," Izuku said. Back in the main area, Aizawa was kicking but using nothing but martial arts. He was the kind of hero who didn't rely on a quirk to be a hero. Hana was flying around distracting a few of the villains while her twin brother possessed one of them using his shadow. In addition to controlling someone with their shadow, he could also use their quirks against them too. One of them had some kind of shield quirk and was being forced to attack his own men. "This is fun," Tenko said. As they continued fighting, they heard a loud screech. The doors were barged open, revealing some kind of monstrous being with large muscles and black skin. Tenko looked at it and it looked familiar. "Wait, those things they couldn't be," Tenko said. Back at the landslide area, Kenure, Momo and the others were fighting to protect each other. One of them saw Kaminari trying to crawl away and grabbed him by the hair. "Now, put your hands behind your head," and, before the villain could continue, some strange spider-like legs appeared out of Kenshi's back. They were part of the spider armor from Spider-Man PS4. They started clawing the villain. Kenure turned around and smirked. "You just got JoJo'd." 𝗔𝗂𝘁𝗵𝗃 face-palmed herself. The other villains looked at Kenure and then at each other. They got their weapons out prepared to fight. Suddenly, the song "Bury the Light" started playing. "Why do I hear boss music?" one of the villains asked. They then saw Kenure with the Yamato. Momo then was facing the villains. You just made a big mistake, bub, Momo said. Two actually. Like what, little lady? The electric guy asked. Your first mistake was attacking a girl who is trained in several styles of combat, Momo told him. Your second was trying to hurt the boy I love. Kenure started to blush hearing that. Wait, is she talking about me? Momo then created a cannon that ripped through her hero costume. She quickly fired the cannon at the villain, knocking him out cold. The others looked at her as if she were crazy. They then ran away in fear. Jesus Christ, she's crazy, said one of them. Jiro and Kaminari peeked out. Is it safe to come out? Kaminari asked. I would assume so, Momo said as she turned around. All the villains in this area ran off. She turned to see her friends with red faces and blushing like mad hatters. What is it? She asked. Yamamo, you're kinda Yuri overexposed. Jiro quickly said. Momo noticed her costume was ripped apart all over. Oh, I can make some new clothes. Kenshu then pulled out a red men's dress shirt from his gaming inventory and gave it to her. Here, to cover yourself, Kenure said. Momo started to blush a bit before she reached over and took the shirt. She smiled nervously and chuckled. Could I what? Kenure asked. Realization started to hit. Oh, sorry. He quickly turned around while Momo put on the shirt. You can look now, Momo told him. Kenure turned around to face Momo. The way the shirt fit her figure made him blush even more. How do I look? Momo asked. The two of them gave Momo a thumbs up. Momo smiled at Kenure, touched by his deed. Thank you, Kenure. She then pecked him on the cheek. Kenshi's face was as red as a tomato. Aha, Jiro said. They then heard a loud roar. It was the mysterious creature known as the Nomo. It gave Aizawa a serious beating with its brute strength. Tenko and Hana managed to grab him and get him to safety. Izuku and Ochako just got done evacuating everyone out of the USJ when Izuku saw the beast trying to attack his cousins. Ochako, stay back, Izuku said. I need to put this thing down. He dashed forward to the Nomo. He then pulled his right fist back, prepared to throw a hard punch. Detroit smash. He punched the Nomo hard. However, it had no effect. It was as if it was built to surpass All Might's power. The Nomu started throwing a few punches of its own. Izuku started dodging left and right to evade the attacks. He then jumped over and put his fingers together. He flicked the fingers, emitting a blast of air at the Nomu. Kenure and the others made it to the main area to see Izuku fighting that thing. The Nomu then saw an opening and backhanded Izuku, sending him flying. Kenure ran towards Izuku and caught him just in time. You okay? He asked. Yeah, thanks, Izuku said. Kenure gave him his hand and helped him up. As he did so, he felt some kind of shock through his body. He didn't have time to react as the Nomu was getting closer. It looked at Izuku. Jojo, get out of here, Izuku said. The Nomu prepared to charge at Izuku and attack once more. Kenure wasn't gonna let it happen. He got into a stance, and some kind of veins appeared throughout his body. Bro, he said. The hell? The Nomu started running. Off. Kenure lunged at the Nomu and jumped up. He threw a right hook at the Nomu right in the face, somehow sending it flying. Kenure then landed on his feet and looked at himself. Wait, isn't this Deku's power? He asked. USJ victory. Kenure was in awe at what he just did. He somehow punched that Nomu using something similar to Izuku's quirk. Izuku was in just as much shock as Kenure was. However, he didn't have time to react as the Nomu was getting back up. Jojo, look out. Kenure saw the Nomu about to attack once more. However, he instantly dodged out of the way. Izuku followed suit and aimed his arm at the Nomu once more. However, instead of an air current, some kind of blackish-greenish whips emerged from him. The whips wrapped around the Nomu. Using this to his advantage, Izuku pulled and threw the Nomu down to the ground, giving him and Kenure enough time to escape. The Nomu got back up and started to chase after the two. However, someone dropped down from the air right in front of it. It was All Might in a dashing suit. However, something was different. He wasn't smiling. It's going to be okay now because I am here, All Might said. He heard that someone was attacking his students. Fighting him and threatening him was one thing. But if there's one thing you should never do, it's attack those closest to him, especially his students. Izuku, evacuate the others while I take out the trash, All Might said. We'll help Uncle, Tenko said as he dragged Aizawa away. Well, I see you found our new toy, said someone as they walked out of the shadows, clapping their hands. It was a man with some kind of arms all around him. He had dark blue hair and a hand on his face. This here is the Nomu, and it was made to withstand your so-called power, the man said. Oh, how rude of me. I never even introduced myself. My name is 𝗕𝗵𝗲, and I was born to end the era of peace. He touched the ground, showcasing his quirk. He could somehow turn anything he touches into ash. Nomu, kill him. All Might then lunged at the Nomu, prepared to kill, All Might following suit, pulling his arm back to throw a hard punch. He was gonna go beyond. Their fists collided, creating a shockwave. One of the many powers of this creation is shock absorption. 𝗕𝗵𝗲 said. What about it? All Might said, that's different than quirk nullification. All Might and the Nomu kept exchanging blow after blow. As Izuku was evacuating the students, he saw All Might taking a beating. The Nomu then lunged at All Might, refusing to let up and throwing a flurry of punches at him. Izuku watched in horror as this was happening. To make matters worse, the creature then punched All Might hard in the face, then it grabbed All Might and threw him at a wall. No! Izuku said. The Nomu was about to attack him once more. Suddenly he saw a crowd of people watching what was going on. 𝗕𝗵𝗲 saw this as an opportunity. Nomu, let's make All Might suffer as he fails to protect a crowd of people, 𝗕𝗵𝗲 said. Kill them. The Nomu started to dash after the citizens. However, Kenure dashed forward, wanting to help. He grabbed a fire flower, and then he jumped up in the air and pulled his left arm back. He tried summoning that strange power once more, wanting to use it to protect. 𝗵𝗃𝗵𝗃. He punched the Nomu hard in the face. As he did, some strange light in the shape of a falcon emerged. Izuku dashed forward and helped his father up. Kenure turned to All Might and gave him some kind of green mushroom. Take it, he said. All Might ate the mushroom. Afterwards, it was as if any injury he sustained disappeared. Thank you, young Jotaro, All Might said. Now go join the others where it's safe. Yes, sir, Kenure said as he hurried out of the scene. You too, Izuku, All Might said as he turned to his son. No, Izuku told him, what kind of hero would I be if I stood by the sidelines knowing someone I care about is in danger? If you're fighting that thing to protect everyone, then so am I. He channeled full Cowling around his entire body at 50%. All Might couldn't help but smile at his son. Can I count on your help then? All Might asked. You bet your butt, Izuku said. The father and son duo looked at the Nomu and channeled their true power within. Izuku dashed forward, punching the Nomu. He dashed around in various areas to tire out the Nomu and distract it. While he was doing that, All Might dashed forward and put his hands together. Carolina smash. A reporter and a news crew were around and saw the commotion. It seems like All Might and some kid are working together to face a powerful threat, the reporter said. Izuku channeled those strange whips once more and grappled the Nomu. Get over here. Izuku then pulled the Nomu towards him and delivered a 50% right hook strike to the face, sending it flying towards All Might, who delivered a fast flurry of punches all over. There's clearly a limit to how many blows this beast can absorb, All Might, so the best thing to do is go beyond that limit. All Might punched the Nomu in the gut super hard, sending it flying. Somehow it was reaching its limit, much to 𝗕𝗵𝗲's dismay. It's time, Izuku, All Might said, to go beyond. Plus Ultra. Izuku finished. The two of them dashed forward to the Nomu, channeling 100% of their power into their right and left arm, prepared to deliver the final blow. Father-son Detroit SMASH. The two of them delivered a hard punch to the Nomu, sending it flying into the sky. When the dust cleared, everyone saw Izuku and All Might raising their fist up in victory, defeating the mysterious foe. Everyone else looked at the two and were instantly scared. One of them went to a police car. I'd like to go to jail now, please. Everyone else cheered for Izuku and All Might. The villains were arrested, however the mysterious 𝗕𝗵𝗲 was nowhere to be seen. He must have made his escape. Some reporters were walking over to Izuku and All Might, who is this boy beside you? The reporter asked, and why does he have a power similar to yours? This young boy is a student of UA, All Might, and possibly the next #1 hero. Had it not been for him, I would probably be in more trouble. All Might then raised Izuku in the air. People started cheering for Izuku, praising him for his victory against evil. Ochako and Katsuki started walking through the crowd. Pardon me, excuse me, best friends coming through, Katsuki said. That would be me in round face. Deku, don't make a habit of this, Ochako said. There's other ways of getting attention, you know. I'll try to remember that. Izuku stated. How's everyone else? Izuku asked. Aizawa took a beating from that thing, Ochako said. 13 is okay, but her suit was badly damaged. She's taking it in for repairs. Everyone else is okay, fortunately. Izuku smiled. Good, Izuku said. Ochako smiled knowing the boy she cared about was okay. She then kissed him in front of the entire class. Mina was jumping up and down. You get it, girl. Mina shouted. As everyone was celebrating, Yorichi was watching them. He was surprised as he somehow used another quirk that he was not born with. He then turned to Banjo, who had a smirk on his face. Well, I'll be damned, he said. He managed to use my quirk. Strange, Yorichi said. What's even more strange is the fact that Jotaro somehow has the quirk as well. Then again, One for All is a very mysterious quirk with wonder. Perhaps he is the chosen one. Don't act mysterious on us, be happy, Banjo said. Izuku and All Might beat that creature. That's true, Yorichi stated. Perhaps I should talk with Izuku and Kenure about this matter. A break from school. Class 1A was given 2 weeks off to relax after the whole USJ disaster. Kenure was walking over to Momo's house to hang out. He made his way past the gold gate and walked into the main office where a man in his mid-50s was filling out paperwork. Bernard, is Momo here? He asked curiously, with sparkles in his eyes. Yes, she should be free after their meeting, Bernard answered, his voice having a slight sense of nerves. Meeting? Kenure asked as he scratched his head. That's odd, Momo didn't tell me about a meeting going on. Perhaps I missed maybe I'm not being clear. Shouted a voice startling the two. In another room where the door was open, Momo and her parents were speaking with the #2 hero, 𝗵𝗲𝗏, with Shoto by his side. 𝗵𝗲𝗏 was trying to arrange a marriage between Momo and Shoto. Kenure went over to that room and put his ear by that door to hear what exactly was going on. You would do well to accept my proposal, 𝗵𝗲𝗏 said. Your daughter Momo will produce powerful children to surpass All Might. And those children will surpass All Might. Our daughter is entitled to make her choices, Makoto stated, and this deal of yours is outdated. I will not allow you to sully my family's name just so you can take All Might's place. Shoto only stood there while 𝗵𝗏𝗏 went on about the whole ordeal. 𝗵𝗏𝗏 turned his attention to Momo. This will bring good fortune to you, Yaoyorozu, 𝗵𝗏𝗏 said. My son will make sure you are happy, taken care of and more. Accept this arrangement. Momo shook her head. I apologize, but I will not marry your son. Momo said as she tugged on the bottom of her shirt, wanting this meeting to be over. Deep down, she was petrified, scared of what 𝗵𝗏𝗏 might do to her and her family. She was praying for something to happen. Meanwhile, Kenure was listening in on the conversation. He wasn't going to just stand by idly watching someone go through something. And what makes you think you won't be taking this offer? 𝗵𝗏𝗏 asked. His right hand was starting to develop a flame. Momo was thinking hard for an answer. All of a sudden, Kenure ran into the room. Because I'm her fiancé. Kenure blurted out randomly, his face sweating. What? 𝗵𝗏𝗏 asked. What? Momo asked. What? Kenure asked before realizing what he was doing. I'm Momo's fiancé. This boy? 𝗵𝗏𝗏 asked, with a confused look on his face, one of his eyebrows rising up. Curiously, Momo decided to play along with Kenshi's fib. That's right, Momo said as she took Kenshi's hand. His fiancé. Perhaps you don't know about this boy's past, 𝗕𝗏𝗏 said. I've done research on who his father is and as you can see, we are well aware of what Kenure has been through. Anoka interrupted as she stood from her chair. Even if we weren't, we wouldn't judge him for who his father is or what he's done. This is preposterous, 𝗕𝗏𝗏 said, turning to Makoto, hoping to settle the dispute. Sir, I suggest you end this and arrange we will have nothing to do with your scheme to usurp all might, Makoto said, with a quietened temper, defiantly raising his arm pointing to the door. Now good day. 𝗕𝗏𝗏 was about to speak, but was interrupted. My husband said good day, Anoka said while pointing at the door, signaling him to leave immediately. 𝗕𝗏𝗏 clicked his tongue and started walking out. Come Shoto, he said with a defeated look on his face. Shoto followed suit. As soon as they left, everyone sighed in relief. Makoto turned to Kenure with a smile on his face. Thank you for stepping in and doing that, he told him as he sat back down on his chair. That being said, what can we do for you? Pardon my language, but what the F was that all about? Kenure asked, waving his arms about. Well, 𝗕𝗏𝗏 was just barging in here having a bit of a fire-induced temper tantrum, trying to best All Might. I figured this had to do with All Might, Kenure said. The number 2 and number 1 heroes are always butting heads. This had happened for years ever since he had his children, Shoto said, stepping in the house before bowing down. Firstly, I'd like to apologize for my father's rash actions. Honestly, it is no trouble at all, Anoka said, waving her hand, brushing off the whole ordeal. Are you aware of quirk marriages? Shoto asked. I know that they are illegal, Momo stated, putting her finger on her chin. That is correct. The practice was banned a few generations after quirks showed up. It forced 2 quirks into marriage and not 2 people. The 2 quirks then combined and were passed on to the offspring. A man such as my father, driven by his longing to beat All Might, used this as his backup plan after he couldn't overcome All Might on his own. Shoto started thinking back to the days of his training with 𝗕𝗏𝗏. He used my mom to create me and my siblings after he won her relatives over with money. Once I was born and had both his fire and mom's ice, he saw me as this perfect child and raised me to become this perfect successor and the next number 1 hero. To do this, he put me through harsh training and neglected my oldest brother Tuya Todoroki. Kenure and the others could only listen in shock and horror realizing this. And he thought he had a bad childhood. To make matters worse, when I refused to train, he poured hot boiling water on my right side and framed my mother for it to keep any loose ends from disrupting us. But one day I'll make him realize that I don't need his power. I thought you should know because I trust you well enough. Shoto started to walk away. Todoroki, wait, Kenure said as Shoto stopped. Listen. I can't pretend to know what you're going through, but know this. If you need someone to vent to about this, I'll be there. Shoto gave him a small smile before walking away. Honestly, 𝗕𝗏𝗏 reminds me of my F.A. Howard, Kenure said. I will probably regret asking, but how does he remind you of your father? Bernard asked. Kenure sighed. He was a control freak. He wanted to mold me into the perfect CEO that destroys dreams. He views heroes as petty cosplayers. When they first told me about Kenshi's father, I thought to myself, what a terrible man, Anoka said. But that aside, what brings you by? Makoto asked. Well, I wanted to deliver this to Momo, to thank her for the USJ. Answered Kenure. He handed Momo a handmade matryoshka doll that looked like her. Momo looked at it and smiled, shedding happy tears. Did you make this? Momo asked with a smile on her face. Kenure nodded, raising it higher for the others to see it. I had a bit of help from my mom, but yeah, I made it, Kenure said as he rubbed his neck, bashfully. Other than that, if need be, I can ask a few professors at UA to help you get 𝗕𝗏𝗏 off your case. You do that? Anoka asked, surprised at Kenure. Of course, ma'am. Anything for my best friend and her family, Kenure said as he pulled out his phone. As Kenure walked into another room, he was making a call to a student at UA who was a 3rd year and an excellent hero in training. His cousin, Neon Sakuya. Quirk, Neon. She can manipulate lights of neon and run at high speeds. Hey Ken, what's up? Neon asked. Hey Neon, I need a favor, Kenure said. Of course, I'd do anything for my favorite cousin, Neon said with a smile on her face. What can I do? Can you get a few of your classmates and professors to show some support for the Yaoyorozu residents? Kenshiro asked. Seems like a big favor. But hell yeah, I'm in. If Super Jotaro is supporting the Yaoyorosis, then so am I. Thanks cuz, Kenshiro said. Momo hugged Kenshiro as she cried tears of happiness. She was very happy that Kenshiro would do this for her. You treat me so well, Momo said as she wiped tears from her eyes. Why do you do all this for me? Because you deserve it, Kenshiro said. You helped me so many times, so it's time I return the favor. Kenshiro noticed a piano in the living room. Is that a piano? He asked. Why yes it is, Momo said as she looked at it, reminiscing the days when she played on it. I studied the piano since I was just a little girl as part of classical education. Kenshiro went to the piano and started playing the dungeon theme from Zelda. He then transitioned to Brinstar Depths from Metroid into the Pokemon theme. You play? Makoto asked, surprised. Yeah, I played Guitar Hero and my mom got me a few instruments, and I got skilled at this, guitar, bass and drums. I learned piano just last year. Are you some kind of prodigy? Anoka asked, amazed by this. As minutes turned to hours, people started showing up, including Kenshi's mom, her new husband, and his niece arrived, with Cementos, Midnight, and Ectoplasm. They were discussing ideas as far as keeping Endeavor off of the Yaoyorosis. Winry approached Momo and smiled at her. It's so good to see you again, Momo dear, she said as she gave her a hug. It's good to see you too, Ms. Jotaro, Momo said with a smile, returning the hug in kind. Why don't you two have some alone time while we discuss things? Makoto said as he smiled at the kids. Kenshiro smiled as he nodded at Makoto. There's actually something I want to show you, Kenshiro said. He pulled out a small warp pipe and placed it on the floor. The two of them walked through the pipe and it led them into Kenshi's virtual world. Momo was amazed at what she saw. She then noticed an area filled with fire flowers. Let's go there, she said as she pointed to that area. She took his hand and the two of them ran over there. Later on, the two of them were laying on the grass and talking about stuff. This place is incredible, Momo said before she turned her attention to the fire flowers, and these fire flowers give the place such a glow. You can probably guess what they do. Kenshiro asked with a smile. Momo touched a fire flower. Her clothes started changing color. Her denim shirt was now a shade of red, her t-shirt was now white, and so were her khaki pants. She also had a fireball in her hand. She threw a fireball. Yeah, I've spent years building this thing from the ground up, Kenshiro said. In case something happens, I got backups, and backups for those backups, etc., etc. This is incredible, Momo said. What else do you have in here? I have a gateway to hell just in case I feel like ripping and tearing, Kenshiro told her. Momo sat by Kenshiro. As the two looked up into the sky, their hands intertwined with one another. Kenshiro turned to Momo. Hey Momo, what you said at the USJ, did you really mean that? Kenshiro asked as he turned to her. I said a lot of things, but what thing in particular did you mean? Momo asked as she tilted her head, looking at Kenshiro, confused. Well, before you blasted that villain with a cannon, your exact words were, your first mistake was picking a fight with a girl trained in various styles of martial arts. Your second was attacking the boy I love. Did you really mean that? Kenshiro asked, with a hint of nervousness in his voice. At that, Momo knew that Kenshiro caught her feelings. Now it seemed like a coin flip for her, but as for the authors and readers, it was pretty obvious he would. Yes, Kenshiro. I did mean it, Momo told him as she felt his face. Really? He asked her, with hope filling his eyes. She nodded as she turned her body, facing Kenshiro. Over the years since I've known you're a kind, caring and sweet boy who's always doing things for others. The incident made me realize how I truly feel about you. She played with her hair a bit as she told him all of this. Kenshiro smiled at what she said. Well, Momo, would you like to? Kenshiro started before being interrupted. Yes. I'd love to be your girlfriend, Momo told him. She then approached the boy and gave him a kiss on the cheek. Kenshi's face turned red as he smiled. Momo cupped his face with her hands and giggled at how adorable he was being at the moment. Momo cupped his face with her hands and giggled at how adorable he was being at the moment. Credit goes to Inko BS on DeviantArt for this gorgeous artwork. Later on, Kenure and Momo walked back to her mansion while holding hands. Kenure opened the door and saw his parents and hers chatting it up and laughing. Anoka noticed the two holding hands and squealed, saying, "Grandbabies." The two of them blushed. Winry gave Momo a hug. "My baby boy finally has a girlfriend." Winry screamed in happiness. Kenure noticed All Might was there as well. He was talking to the 𝐒𝐻𝐢𝐺 and Kenshi's mom about a dormitory system that was being done to protect the students from another villain attack. Both of the prospective families agreed. "This is an excellent strategy, All Might," Makoto said. "Of course the 𝐒𝐻𝐢𝐺 are no stranger to planning as well. I am working with Sai on some secret projects to help you heroes gain the fighting edge against villains. Of course I know my daughter will be safe with you around Kenure," he stated as he patted Kenure on the back. "I will kill for your daughter, sir," Kenure said, with a determined smile on his face, surprising everyone. "Dial it back," Makoto told him with a playful tone. Everyone laughed at this. Momo held Kenshi's hand as she laughed alongside her family. She then kissed him on the cheek once again.